Some may find the following disturbing. Discretion is advised.
What's up and welcome back to Bar Down Talking Hockey, episode number 46, presented by the Barroom Network. My name is Vinny Parisi, and as you can see right below my face, I got my original Twitter account back. And this right here, this is Frankie Mueller. And for, I think, the second straight week, he's rocking that awesome Seattle Kraken hat. Or maybe I just saw him wearing it in person. And this right here, this is Joey Parisi. And once again,
back with the fan favorite.
Bauer. What's going on, gentlemen?
I know why you think I was wearing it last week, but I wasn't.
I think I know why. You were not wearing it on the show, but when I saw you in person crushing some sushi, you were absolutely wearing it.
And the hat I was wearing on the show last week was the North Carolina hat, so it's the same color.
Ah, okay.
Roughly around this, so I can see why you would think that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was not wearing this hat last week.
No, you were wearing a Bruins hat, I think, last week, correct?
Was I? I don't even remember. Honestly, I didn't put much thought into it today. This hat was sitting right on the coffee table, so it's like it's the first hat I grabbed.
Yeah, there you go. You kind of brought up the North Carolina hat, Frank. We got some big news over the last week or so, and I don't have it included in any of our periods to talk about because I kind of figured we'd just mention it right at the top. And of course, that means next year, we haven't even gotten to this stadium series yet between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Dallas Stars. Or it's not Dallas Stars, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Nashville Predators that's going to take place in Nashville this year. But they announced next year's couple events. The All-Star Game is going to be home of the Florida Panthers. I believe it's called the BB&T Arena. Joe, you're the Atlantic guy. You might be able to correct me on that.
It sounds familiar.
The Winter Classic is going to be hosted by your Boston Bruins with opponent TBD at Fenway Park. So Joey asked me, he goes, isn't this the first time that there's going to be a repeat Winter Classic venue? This is going to be the first time there's a repeat Winter Classic city. There has never been two cities. There have been multiple home teams, but for example, Foxborough is a very different town than Boston. And the Bruins have hosted, both at each stadium. The Blackhawks, they've hosted at Wrigley for the Winter Classic, and they've hosted at Notre Dame. South Bend, Chicago, very different from each other. This is the first time that a Winter Classic will be played in the same city twice. And then Frankie brought up North Carolina. North Carolina's football stadium is going to host a stadium series game between the Carolina Hurricanes opponent to be determined. Guys, what's your reaction to this stuff?
I'm excited.
Joe, Frank, you first.
I'm excited. Kind of stole Joey's thunder.
Yeah, I was supposed to be first.
It didn't look like you were going to say anything.
Well, you just started. You're like, I'm excited.
Oh, I am excited. That's why I started right away. I mean, I love North Carolina.
Get your jitters out. Get your jitters out.
See the Hurricanes play a game at the North Carolina Stadium, I think is going to be fantastic. And Joe, for your Boston Bruins, I know you're going to be pumped for that game. You'd probably love to go to that game. My guess, the Bruins would host a rivalry opponent. I don't know. I can only guess who they would put in. I think Bruins Montreal outdoor game would be kind of sick, but who knows if they'll do that.
Yeah. So here's my early guess.
I have a heavy guess on both.
My early guess is it's going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs.
My second guess.
In the Winter Classic.
That's what I
only
think
because
too.
The Montreal Canadiens Boston Bruins was 2015 at Gillette Stadium. I don't know if they're going to repeat the two opponents. The only thing that confused me, it said for that Winter Classic, it said that the opponent is to be determined and confirmed date is to be confirmed. Like it's going to be on New Year's Day. There's no way.
Is New Year's Day a Sunday?
Yes.
Then it'll be the second.
Really?
Yeah, guaranteed. I didn't even think of that. They're not going to put the Winter Classic against NFL football. No shot. No shot.
Damn.
They're never.
I didn't even think about it. I do know for a 100% fact that New Year's Day 2023 is a Sunday.
Okay, so it being on February 2nd changes a lot, or January 2nd changes a lot of things. I all agree. I think they're going to play the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I think the Carolina Hurricanes are going to play the New Jersey Devils. A little wink, wink on that. Wink, wink. I think they're going to be playing the New Jersey Devils.
All right, well, Vinny knows something we don't. So
Well, okay, and so based on things I've heard and stuff like that, New Jersey Devils, okay, it's a maybe. I don't think it's going to be the Florida Panthers because they're hosting the All-Star game. They make sense, but they're hosting the All-Star game. The Bruins make sense because of the Whalers-Bruins rivalry, but they're hosting the Winter Classic. So really, to me, for the Hurricanes opponent, it comes down to the Devils and the Rangers.
Penguins would make kind of sense.
Penguins would make sense too.
They're going to want to pick a good team, I feel.
I think the NHL has Penguins fatigue right now. Do you remember who was the most marketed player during the All-Star game?
Most marketed?
The most that they showed, the most that they talked about.
Yeah, it was.
It was
Jack Hughes and
it was
Zegras.
It was Lil Jizzy. It was Lil Jizzy.
Why did Devils? Is that a name for him that Devils fans have?
He came up with it for himself. It is
a little weird.
I know.
I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan of it either, but it rolls off the tongue. Lil Jizzy. I think it's going to be
rolls off the tongue in more ways than one. Huh?
Yeah,
they're not going to be a great team next year. They're not going to be a great team next year, but I don't think they're going to be as atrocious of a team as they are right now. And the NHL loves marketing Jack Hughes.
I mean,
that's my pick.
We've been saying that for like 3 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
the NHL's here to make money.
Yeah, so they need to market
whoever's going to get the best ratings for the NHL.
Yep.
They're not going to put in a shitty team, and they're not going to.
Well, they've put in shitty teams. The Buffalo Sabres.
Oh, trust me, I know. I remember the days the Buffalo Sabres were in.
Yeah.
But there was reason they put them in.
Yeah, there's reason to put the Devils.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if they're going to choose based off, obviously they're going to choose based off the team, whatever. But you get what
there
I'm
are
saying.
there are a lot of criteria to go into it. My prediction: Bruins, Leafs, Devils, Hurricanes, and the Devils and Hurricanes have a long storied rivalry. That's the team that the Devils have played in the playoffs the most in their entire history, I believe. So.
Yeah. And Bruins Leafs just makes the most sense to me. The only reason I could see them not doing Bruins Leafs is if they don't want a Canadian team in it. Because the Winter Classic traditionally has been, American teams. The Canadians were in it. Wasn't the Canadians being in the Bruins the first time that the Canadian team has been in the Winter Classic?
No. The Leafs played the Red Wings at the Big House the year before.
Oh, that was the year before. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I could even say like Bruins Rangers, to be honest with you.
I definitely
Bruins Rangers is possible.
I 100% think it will be an original 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. So that's a lot of fun. All-Star game in Florida. That'd be sick to go to. It'll be warm.
What is there at the bottom of the screen that made you guys laugh? And it threw me off. I couldn't even think of it. I read like the first part of it.
What do you mean? You didn't read it?
I didn't read it. I didn't want to lose my train of thought.
It was an Urban Dictionary definition of the word jizz.
And it kind of caught Skylar off guard too, as he says, "What did I just walk in?"
When you look it up in the dictionary, it's just a picture of Jack Hughes' face.
Yeah, Lil Jizzy.
He's changing the game, the jizz game forever.
It's weird.
But wait a minute. So Joe, you've seen that nickname like out there besides just coming from my mouth, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's weird.
It is a little weird. I think he might have came up with it when he was a young little twat playing.
He is so awkward. Like not awkward, but he is like he's
like a little cocky, arrogant.
He's a character.
Punk.
I was watching
like
a Puck personality. I was watching a Puck personality today. And all these players are so serious. They were asking about the lacrosse style goal. And all these players are so serious saying, "Oh yeah, I think it's cool. It's cool for the game." Then there's some players who are like, "I hate it." And then all of a sudden it goes to Jack Hughes like, "Yeah, I think it's sick."
It's funny. He's like a little rat that you would like see playing rat hockey. Like him, Quinn, and Luke were probably people that loved them and people that hated them at their local rink when they played.
Oh, everyone hated them.
Yeah, well, look how that worked out for all three of them.
Yeah.
So Quinn has been awesome with the Canucks lately. Like back in the Norris Trophy conversation, kind of like he's a superstar. Bruce Boudreau, what?
Both have COVID at the same time.
Dude, they caught it in Vegas. There's no doubt. Quinn was in Vegas.
You think Quinn was with them?
What? Would you come see me if I was in the All-Star game? I'd come see you.
Yeah, there's so many players. so many players are positive right now, and it's because if you were in the All-Star game, okay, you were at Vegas partying with everyone,
Yeah.
and if you were out of the All-Star game, you probably went and partied somewhere else
Yeah,
on your break.
Did you see that TikTok that had like Dylan Larkin and Mark Stone like just passing around drinks and shit too? And it was after the skills competition, and then the next day you got cats like Peter DeBoer up there like, yeah, I'm really hungover.
Yeah.
Like, just so funny. So I enjoyed that stuff. I'm excited for next season's events. Florida will be cool. I do think the two, regardless of who either team's opponents are, we can make predictions till we're blue in the face. I got a little wink on the Devils, but we'll see if that actually comes true, because there are some other good options for the Hurricanes too, like the Rangers, like the Islanders. So I definitely think it'll be a Metro team for sure. Philly would make sense, but they're going to trade Giroux. I don't really know. What were you going to say?
Maybe they're waiting to see if they get Shane Wright.
Dude. We'll talk about that kid in a couple shows from now. And yeah, that kid's unreal. And dude, Bedard. I mean, the next two drafts have a number 1 overall pick. It's like when we were going into the 2014-15 season, the Hawks won the Stanley Cup, and people were like, dude, the next two drafts have McDavid, Matthews, and Eichel. Like, we're going to get 3 top 10 players drafted first or second overall in the next two drafts. Like, that could be the case right now. Bedard, Michkov, and Shane Wright could legitimately be top 10 players in the NHL 5 years from now. We'll see. Hopefully. The Devils got to stop stinking, though. Last night was a good start, but guess what? Montreal sucks. What are you laughing at?
Wait, where are you going with Montreal sucks? Because they just fired their head coach like 9 minutes ago.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
The Devils got a head coach fired.
The Montreal Canadiens, look, I just got a notification on NHL. Canadiens fire coach Dominique Duchamp.
Breaking news.
I forget how to say his name.
Who they hired?
Here on Bar Down Talking Hockey.
Well, somebody's got to step in.
Canadiens fire coach Dominique Ducharme. Montreal is 8-37 after Cup final appearance last season.
Hold on, the Canadians are calling me.
That is unbelievable. The Canadiens say the status of assistant coaches Alex Burrows, Eric Gravel, Mario LeBlanc, Trevor Lukowski, Eric Raymond, and Luke Richardson remains unchanged. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I figured we would talk about that because I actually read that right before we went live. Like, it was literally like we were in the pre-studio or whatever, and I read that they fired his head coach. I didn't say anything because I figured we would talk about it, but I guess I was the one to break the news to you guys.
Replacement is still to be announced. And you want to know something crazy?
It's gonna be Shea Weber with his boot.
Montreal. Well, that's part of the reason they suck, is not having Price and Weber. I mean, they probably wouldn't be a cup team anymore, but like they'd be better
than 8-30.
Yeah.
8-37.
Their general manager was Mark Bergevin, and he was let go because of the whole Kyle Beach thing. And with the Blackhawks, and he was replaced by, hold on, I have his name right here. It was, hold on. Kent Hughes. Kent Hughes is their GM. His son, Jack Hughes, is about to be drafted in this year's upcoming draft. There's going to be 2 Jack Hugheses in the NHL.
So it's not related to Quinn Hughes or
nope, none of them. And
but
it's funny.
Related to Jack Hughes, but not that Jack Hughes.
Yeah, exactly. Jack Hughes will be the new Jack Hughes. He plays at Northeastern, Joe. He just played in the Beanpot. The Beanpot was yesterday or Monday for those who follow college hockey. We love the Beanpot. He plays for Northeastern, and he's going to be a top 10 draft pick in this upcoming draft.
What position does he play?
He's a winger and center. He plays both.
Imagine if he went to the Devils. You got Hughes and Hughes.
Well, here's the thing. He's not a top 5 pick.
Luke Hughes coming in the pipeline.
Okay, so there's Quinn Hughes, who's on the Vancouver Canucks, Jack Hughes on the New Jersey Devils, Luke Hughes on the New Jersey Devils, and Jack Quinn, who was drafted by the Buffalo Sabres last year.
I quit it right there.
Jack Quinn was drafted by the Buffalo Sabres with the
Jack Quinn Hughes or just Jack
No,
Quinn?
just Jack Quinn.
I was like, this is getting.
Yeah, and next year and this year's another Jack Hughes. So like the Hughes Quinn.
All we need is a Quinn Jack, and we got all the
Quinn Jack or a Quinn.
Why not a Luke Jack?
A Luke Jack, yeah.
Luke Jack.
Yeah.
Jack Luke.
So It's
Yeah,
getting a
it
little
sounds kinda
banana lands
interesting.
with the names, but yeah, the Kent Hughes is.
Let's not forget about Bruins prospect Cameron Hughes.
There you go. There you go. So Kent Hughes is the father of Jack Hughes that is about to be drafted, and he's the Montreal Canadiens GM.
Hugh
That
knows.
is the one who fired the head coach. So that's interesting. We haven't even gotten to period number one, and we already have
Right
breaking
over
news.
Vinny's head.
You don't
He
think
goes,
I
"Who's
know?
that?"
You don't think I
He goes,
know?
"What draft is he in?"
You don't think I know what Frankie meant there when he said that? I just kept
and the
talking
reason
because you
I
guys
was
keep
laughing-
interrupting me.
The reason I was laughing when you said, "What are you laughing at?" before I said, "Wait, why did you say the Montreal Canadiens thing?" is because when I took a sip, I feel like I always feel Frankie.
Oh
He,
yeah,
like,
I knew
he-
it was a sun kissed right away.
He pinpoints.
looked.
He is so interested in what I'm drinking
You
every
see my
single.
eyes, good.
Gatorade me, bitch.
Love. Oh, Jesse
Love
Pinkman.
Gatorade.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You need to love Breaking Bad. It's a tweak that you haven't
I was
watched.
craving a
Breaking Bad.
Gatorade the other
Well,
day. I
Frank,
picked
look,
them
we're
up.
empty. We're empty, Frank. So what's next on the pipeline?
We will
I'm
find
gonna say-
out what drink is next for Joey Parisi in period number one. We have a special period number one announcement. We are going to announce to the world what Joey's drink of choice is this period.
And I
Joe?
want to hear
yeah?
a crack.
Oh,
I
you
want to hear a crack.
I usually mute it. I'm usually pretty sneaky when I crack the
No,
can.
yeah.
You-
Don't mute it this time. We want to hear the crack on air. This is Super Week, guys.
All right.
We're having
Yeah,
a
let me
super
look,
week, super show. Let's go.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Oh.
fizzy. That's a Diet Dr.
That's a
Pepper for
good
sure.
crack. I'm gonna go with Diet Coke.
Frank, what did you guess?
Diet Dr. Pepper.
You're so close, but it's so precise. You're never gonna guess
Oh
it.
yeah, it's
Diet
probably
RC?
it's probably like cherry, vanilla, fruity, tutti, fruity. Yeah.
Oh my god. I was basically right. The fizz, the crack, I just knew it was a Diet.
The
Yeah.
fizz. He says the fizz sounded like Dr. Pepper.
It did. What would I just pull it out of my ass? I guessed it.
We touched on All Star Weekend so far.
That's so good. It's so creamy. It's like if you're a Dr. Pepper fan,
Sounds
And
like
you-
a Sprite Zero.
if you're a Dr. Pepper fan and you like cream soda, they make it in non-zero. I like the zero,
That was funny.
save a couple cals, but
What did we tell you about no free ads?
maybe okay, when Dr. Pepper contacts me, he's like, "Hey, I saw a little promo you did. We want to give you a little something." I'm gonna be like, "All right, Vin, fuck you. It's all me."
Yeah, well, I don't even like Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper stinks. So we touched on the All-Star Weekend a little bit by bringing up Jack Hughes, most marketed player of the whole weekend, which he was. But
I mean,
He
Trevor
was-
Zegras wasn't an all-star and he got to go and
yeah, well, I was going to say he was one of three players, I would say, that stole the show during the NHL skills competition. And of course, that was during probably the most entertaining challenge of the night. And that's, of course, the breakaway challenge. I would say that Trevor Zegras, Jack Hughes, and Alex DeBrincat all stole the show by having specific skits from either a movie or something themed with Vegas. If you're Trevor Zegras, a little bit of both. Or if you're Alex DeBrincat, a little bit of both, rather. Of course, Trevor Zegras reenacted, and he didn't reenact a scene of Dodgeball. He just gave a little tribute to something from Dodgeball, where he dressed up with the Average Joe's, jersey and did a little shot well. Some people were throwing dodgeballs at him. I believe it was NHL mascots throwing dodgeballs at him, and he's dodging them while blindfolded, and he pulls off this move that ends up actually scoring the goal. And then immediately following him was Jack Hughes, who took a normal shot, kind of got people like, hey, what's this leading to? He brings out a magic box. And in the magic box, he throws a mini pair of gloves, a mini stick, mini helmet. Then he skates around a little bit, gives it a little tap, and all of a sudden, Mini Hughes comes out. And he scores a goal, and then they toss their sticks into the crowd, imitating a goal that Jack Hughes scored against the Chicago Blackhawks on opening night. And then following that, Alex DeBrincat comes out dressed as Alan from The Hangover, and he even had a little baby Carlos. And other celebrities or notable people from the Vegas area dressed up as other characters from The Hangover as well, including, they had the Mike Tyson with the tiger and someone dressed as Phil. So it was really cool to see. And then Derek Carr comes out of nowhere, Vegas's quarterback.
that's our guy, Frank.
And he
I was pumped.
throws an absolute dime of a football onto the stick of Alex DeBrincat, who dekes and scores with the football. So I think it's very easy to say that these three guys stole the show, and then that complete bum, John Hamm, that complete moron,
This
John
looks funny,
Hamm.
real quick, like that. That looks funny. It looked like the tiger is just like dead.
Yeah, dead. John Hamm votes 19 out of 10 for Alex Pietrangelo, who plays for the hometown Vegas Golden Knights, so the crowd loved it. But we all know the real reason that John Hamm gave Alex Pietrangelo a 19 out of 10 was because he was the captain of the St. Louis Blues when Hamm's favorite team, the Blues, won the Stanley Cup in 2019. Jack got robbed. Zegras got robbed. Even DeBrincat got robbed of coming in third. What did you guys make of this challenge overall, though? Frank, I'll start with you.
You know, it was very entertaining. I look forward to the All-Star game, and this is my favorite challenge of all time that they've ever had. Just because you get a lot of variety, you don't know what to expect. When you watch like the fastest skater, okay, guys are just gonna race, right? When you watch the hardest shot, they're just gonna shoot the puck. But when you watch the breakaway challenge, anything could happen. Pucks could explode, as we've seen in years past. Players aren't even really themselves. We got Ovechkin in there, and he wasn't even at the All-Star game.
I didn't even mention that. Yeah, Kaprizov imitating Ovechkin.
It was so fun just to see like Alex DeBrincat bringing Derek Carr, and I don't know if you knew this. I think one of the guys was Hunter Renfroe.
Yeah, it was Hunter Renfroe. Football Hunter Renfroe, not baseball Hunter Renfroe.
Yeah, Hunter Renfroe from the Vegas Raiders. So just it's an all-inclusive event. You get everybody, you get all walks of life in this. You see personalities come to life and who these players really are off the ice when they bring that onto the ice. Yeah, it was just really fun to watch, and I really enjoyed it a lot.
Joe?
I couldn't agree more. And Frank, I was waiting for you to say this word, and you never said it. It's cheeky, is what it is.
Cheeky.
It's cheeky. It's hilarious because I thought for sure you were gonna say it because that's how we describe stuff like that. But being able to see these players like and really show their personalities off the ice, like we saw with Zegras, DeBrincat, and Hughes, and even a little bit of Kaprizov. Yeah, Pietrangelo was the boringest one of them all. In fact, it was pretty good, but like I don't think it was worthy of winning. And I guess if you look back now in years past, like the fact that they actually awarded him the winner it kind of ruined it a little bit. But yeah, Jack Hughes and that Zegras thing. I saw a video of him practicing it that morning. There's like a whole behind the scenes video like of the players taking advantage and really just soaking in All-Star weekend. And Zegras was practicing it. I believe they brought in Pavel Barber, who's like a YouTube hockey personality who he loves doing those fancy little trick shots. And he was working with Zegras like all morning. They were practicing it. He wasn't getting it like every time. Like this is a hard move to do. And whether you're able to see through that blindfold or not, which part of me believes he kind of was able to see through the blindfold a little bit.
I do too.
But even still, like being able to pull off that move on one, you got one shot. You fuck it up, it's not going to look as cool if you do it again the second time. And being able to just pull it off like that. And then not only that, but little Jack Hughes, who, Vin, I'll let you go into detail on who that kid was. The fact that he put the puck in the net, Zegras scored his goal, and DeBrincat, the football actually it worked out perfect. He dropped the football to a stick and the football went in the net. The fact that all three like goals actually happened kind of made it that much cooler to me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the magic trick that Jack Hughes pulled off with Mini Hughes. I'm trying to find the kid's name. It's Brecken Scapetto, who his dad, Chris Scapetto, is a equipment manager for the New Jersey Devils. Really cool opportunity for him to go out there, imitate Jack Hughes, pull off the move, hang out in the box a little bit. I think I heard some similar stories about them practicing it and it just being a lot of fun. Jack Hughes had one more point on the score sheet, the legit score sheet, than Trevor Zegras. I think most people would probably have the opinion that those two deserve to come in first or second in either order. I'm obviously biased towards Hughes. Either one of them could have won, though, because they were both equally as entertaining, in my opinion. And then Pietrangelo comes in and John Hamm 19 out of 10, and they just allowed it. Like, what?
John Hamm was just I like John Hamm. I think he's hilarious and he's a Blues fan.
Oh, he is funny. He's also in one of my all-time favorite movies, Baby Driver.
Yeah, and he really pissed me off in 2019 because he is a diehard Blues fan. And obviously they beat the Bruins in the Cup that year. But I do like John Hamm as a person. I think he's awesome.
Oh yeah.
But he was a terrible judge because not only did he do the thing with Pietrangelo, and for some reason they actually counted the 19. They should have just counted it 10. because it's a 1 out of 10 scale. But I believe he gave the only reason he gave DeBrincat a 7 when everyone else was pretty high, because he said a touchdown is worth 7 points.
So stupid.
Did you even hear him?
No, I didn't hear that. Touchdown's not even worth 7 points.
I know, but that's what he said. Everyone was giving John Hamm shit for only giving DeBrincat a 7. He goes, "That's what a touchdown's worth."
But it's not. It's worth 6.
I know.
Well,
John Hamm likes controvery. We've seen it in wrestling. I'm pretty sure, Joe. Right? Hasn't he come and screwed somebody over?
That sounds familiar, actually. Him in
Really?
the WWE scene.
Yeah, I mean, he just likes causing controversy. That's just him.
He's a fun guy. I mean,
and just correct me if I'm wrong here, right? Alex Petrangelo's was obviously the worst one of everyone, which I thought he could have done way more.
Yeah,
being from Vegas, he plays for the Vegas Golden Knights. So you're the hometown guy.
You could have had Snoop Dogg or Lil Wayne or something sick. Yeah.
Think about it. Alex DeBrincat brought in Derek Carr and Hunter Renfroe, Vegas guys. But the guy who plays for the Vegas Golden Knights didn't do anything like that. It was very eye appealing. I thought it was cool with all the lights, but I thought he could have done so much more. The fans are looking up to you. All right, here we go. Everybody's been waiting for this moment. You're going last. You're going to put on a show. It was kind of boring. He had Carrot Top or somebody, but that was a fake Carrot Top in the
that wasn't really Carrot Top?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Him. No.
Well, at first, I actually also thought that Mike Tyson was really Mike Tyson. I was wow,
Really?
wow, Mike Tyson's there.
Really?
Joey was like, "Wow, Mike Tyson at the NHL All-Star game."
That's pretty cool. It's Vegas. I don't know.
That's why I think Petrangelo could have done way more, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, did you guys think it was funny? Joey made this point to me. You know how Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly they get into it, they don't like each other. They have their little feud. And Machine Gun Kelly's doing the NHL All-Star game that only diehard hockey fans are watching. And Eminem's getting ready to do the Super Bowl on Sunday. Get out of here with this Eminem versus Machine Gun Kelly crap.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so excited for that. We'll get into that later.
Oh, I know.
Eminem's my dude.
It was a very interesting part of the show. I really enjoyed the breakaway challenge. You had fastest skater and hardest shot. Frank, was it one of those two that besides the breakaway challenge appealed to you, or what else did you enjoy from the skills competition?
Well, there's a few things that I could go over. The first thing is I'm very surprised that Kyrie won it. Very, very surprised. Thought Makar was gonna win it.
I was a little disappointed. I wanted him to put on more a little quicker review.
And another interesting thing from the fastest skater was Dylan Larkin holds the record all time, but he came in second to last.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of surprising too. But one of my other favorite things from the skills competition was the NHL 21 and 22. I thought that was fantastic. That's right up my alley. It was a little cheeky because everybody got 21, but it was a blast to watch, and it was funny. Stamkos is like, "I've been in Florida for 14 seasons. I'm just cold. I want to get out."
Yeah. And we looked up the weather in Vegas that day. It was 50.
Yeah,
get out of here, Stamkos. Yeah. If it's 50 here. I walked to get a slice of pizza today because I found out it was 40. Get out of here with this 50s cold crap, Stamkos. Yeah. I'm ready to go for a swim here.
Let's go.
Yeah. Joe, Patrice Bergeron, he did really good in his little thing with the target aiming, didn't he?
Yeah, it was he. Honestly, he just proves that he's poised. He's a poised athlete.
For those who don't know, Bergeron came in second to last.
Yeah, I think he finished with 27 seconds on the clock, which, I mean, I don't like the whole clock thing. I liked it better when they didn't have the clock and it was just the number of shots that it took. Because then it kind of made going 4 for 4 a little cooler. You go 4 for 4.
Oh, I think going 4 for 4 is harder now. It absolutely is harder now.
Same. But I think it was better when it was just a number. But Sebastian Aho did kill it, as you see here. He was the only player to go 4 for 4 in this year's accuracy shooting. But yeah, I think Bergeron did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, of course he did. I'm actually looking up our text message conversation while it was happening in real time. And I honestly think that this is one of the funniest things that I've ever seen. You could probably see it on screen a little bit. I'll read it to you. Joey said, Draisaitl stinks, Keller stinks, Dahlin stinks, Aho stinks, Gensel stinks. This is as the guys are doing this competition. Then it gets to Bergeron, who just sucked. He did terrible. And Joey goes, "What an effort! Honestly, so impressed." That right there is a fan. Nobody's a better fan of their team than Joey. I mean, he just doesn't admit when his guys stink. Everyone's always amazing. And honestly, I respect it. I want to get back to that.
And you know what? You know what else was impressive on the save streak, which I think they kind of ruined that event. We'll talk about that real quick. They kind of ruined that event
I agree.
by making both goalies go at the same time.
Yep.
Frank, I don't know if you agree or caught on to that,
Mhm.
but before it used to be okay, one goalie is going, and if he made a save on that final shot, then it would go into that second round. But now you see here on the screen, you got Gibson and Demko going. In years past, it would just be Gibson going, and then he would go for a record. I don't like that it's both goalies now, because like one goalie can fuck it up for the other one. Like I just don't like that.
Yeah.
But
Jack
then
Hughes ended the Atlantic. The Atlantic ended up winning, but Jack Hughes ended it. Not a big deal.
Yeah, the Atlantic ended up winning, and that just seems how it goes. Like the Atlantic seems to always do really good in the skills competition, and then I've yet to see them win an actual all-star, like one of these 3-on-3 things, which this has been like what, the 5th year now. So maybe eventually I'll see the Atlantic win it, but they're always great in the skills competition. And the move Bergeron put on the goalie that he was shooting on to end his streak was unreal.
The reason that you haven't seen, or you feel like you haven't seen the Atlantic win, is because you haven't.
No, I know. I said
3-3-0-0.
That's what I said.
3-3 for Central or 3-3 for Pacific and Metro each, and then 0-0 for Central Atlantic. Neither of those two. But I think going in, we all agreed that the two best rosters were the Atlantic and the Pacific, and they were the first two out.
Yeah.
That's why you never know.
Yeah. I agree. And so moving into the All-Star game. Oh, really quick, Joe, you happy Chara's thing didn't get broken?
Yeah, the hardest shot. And Vin, you said this. It kind of puts into perspective, like 108.8 miles per hour. I was getting a little nervous because it seemed like everyone's first shot was shit, and then their second shot was like a 10 mile per hour increase. And so when Victor Hedman hit 101 on his first shot, I was like, fuck, if he gets that increase that everyone else has been getting, my record shot. But sure as shit, it went from 101 to 103. Hedman stinks, and Char will always have the hardest shot in that.
Yeah,
challenge.
I don't know if we'll ever see it broken. To
Yeah,
be honest with
you need a specimen of a human.
Weber came close, though. It's not like nobody's come close since. Weber had 108.5.
Yeah, but
you're telling me somebody's not going to come along that's just as strong as Weber or Chara? I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't know.
Someone's going to come along that'll
eventually
challenge. They might not break it. Someone will come along where they're like a legit threat every year, where like the hardest shot is fun again. The hardest shot, it's not that fun right now because nobody really can get into it what Chara and Weber were able to, but someone will come along.
When Hedman hit that 102, I was nervous.
There'll be a record that can't be broken.
Owen Power. He'll do it because he's got so much power. Just kidding. Is there anything else from the skills competition you guys wanted to touch on before we get into the actual All-Star game?
I thought it was funny that Pellick shot 89.4 on his first shot.
Yeah,
but
then
he bumped it up.
Yeah,
I would love to.
He learned something. Because it's a quality radar gun, it'll be accurate.
Yeah.
Like not like this little janky stuff that we've used in our life.
70 at least.
Maybe it's possible.
Like 100?
No, some NHL players can't even hit 100. I honestly believe that. Another thing, that outdoor, Frank. What did you think of the outdoor one on the fountain?
The Bellagio.
Cheeky.
Yeah.
Talk about cheeky. They had to keep hitting the pucks to turn them on too to light them.
Yeah, it was just killing time. I don't know. Did they have to do that, or did someone tell them you have to do it?
I think the NHL told them you had to do that.
So the audience can see the puck, right?
And yeah, not only that, but like when you're shooting it to a further target, how do you know if it went in or into the pond? Like, did it stay in or did it not? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now the pond is just littered with pucks.
I was thinking about that too.
Bergeron had the worst luck with the bounce back of the pucks too. Like, see the pucks just come right back to it, and that fucks you up. You got that puck coming at you in your peripherals.
Oh, shut up! You sound like a fool.
But yeah, I thought the little fountain was cool.
I honestly think I would be able to hit all 5 of those things on the fountain, and my first try.
Dude, Bergeron, the puck's coming back to him. The puck's coming back to him.
He's just a patient guy.
Yeah, he is a patient guy. He's also, nobody ever hates Bergeron. Did you ever notice that? Like, everybody just enjoys Bergeron, and when he's out there, like, people are just enjoying it. Like nobody ever has a bad thing to say about him. He just goes out there and everyone's just like, oh yeah, Patrice Bergeron, yay.
He's my favorite Bruin.
I think I could get this challenge done in under 30 seconds.
I mean, but look like how dark it is. That's why you have to turn them on.
Yeah, but like I would love to try that. It just looks fun. Like, how do we just set something like that up in someone's backyard?
It does look fun, actually, and I love seeing them all out there with their jerseys. I do think that looks a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it really does.
Another story. I guess I'll just say this story real quick because they said it yesterday during the broadcast. And while we're talking about Bergeron, Bergeron looked at this All-Star appearance as his family. He wanted to really, make it special for his family. He's got 3 kids, and they're all a little older now. They're going to remember this. Zach, Noah, and I forget the girl's name. I'm sorry, little Bergeron, but I forget his daughter's name. But Noah made a friend. His middle child Noah made a friend, and this was just such a cool story. Someone he's never met before, but he met him in this All-Star weekend, and his name is Carter. His dad is also an NHL All-Star. They spent a lot of time in the locker room playing shinny, and it was his first time that Noah Bergeron met this Carter, and they spent a lot of time in the locker room together because it was Patrice Bergeron's teammate, Steven Stamkos' son, Carter Stamkos, and they're the same age. They became like really good friends. So they said a story yesterday, like maybe they'll be retelling that story 20 years from now when Carter Stamkos first met Noah Bergeron and they're both playing in the NHL. I just thought that was a really cool story.
That would be kind of funny, actually. Yeah. I mean, they would have to both go on to be like really good players and want to play hockey, but a lot has to go right for that to happen. But I mean, weirder things have happened before. There are pictures of the Tkachuk brothers like in the Blues locker room, like when they were younger. So like, with Keith Tkachuk. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. All-Star Weekend's skills competition was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Hearing Bucci call it while I was eating chicken parm and Italian mac and cheese was certainly a delicious segment of my night while watching it. The All-Star game came the very next day. And as we mentioned before, the Metropolitan Division defeated the Central Division for their 3rd ever championship of the All-Star game. It was an interesting couple games. The Metropolitan, they kind of handled the Pacific Division, I don't want to say with ease, but they had the 2-goal lead, then they gave it up. Then they took it back again thanks to Jack Hughes, giving them a 4-3 lead, and he was magnificent. Claude Giroux was magnificent. They ended up giving the All-Star game MVP, Joe, to Claude Giroux, who, just like Jack Hughes, had 3 goals and 1 assist. Did Lil Jizzy get robbed?
I believe he did. I thought for sure it was going to be Jack Hughes. Honestly, like I don't know why. I don't know what Giroux did better. I think Jack Hughes honestly had a better game. So I really got no answer than yes. I do believe that your little Jizzy did get robbed.
Frank?
Yeah, I thought Jack Hughes was going to get the All-Star MVP. When I was watching the game, I'm like, oh, this year's All-Star is going to be Jack Hughes. But then I guess when you think about it, it's 50-50. They did the same thing, 3 goals, 1 assist. So in like after the fact and like you see the details, I think the only reason they did that was because Giroux had 2 goals in the championship game and Hughes had 1. But Hughes's 1 was the game-winning goal. So I guess it's a coin flip, right? Like it could have went either way. I don't know why they ended up going with Claude Giroux. But I thought for sure it'd be Hughes upon like first glance, like as I was watching it in real time.
I think Claude Giroux being the veteran who is probably it's probably his last crowning moment in a Flyers jersey. I do think he will be traded at the deadline. I'm kind of happy for Giroux. I wanted Jack to win because I'm a Devils fan and I like the Devils, but I'm happy for Giroux. He deserved to win it just as much. Kyrou had 5 points between the 2 games. But they're not going to give it to one of the losing team's players. So it was interesting to see. Jack Hughes is incredibly marketable. He will be back. He probably could use a car more than Claude Giroux because, Jack Hughes just signed a ticket for $8 million a year, but that doesn't kick in until next year. He's nowhere close to being rich yet. He will be rich very soon, but he's not rich right now. And Giroux has certainly made some money in his career. But, Giroux gets the car. We'll see what happens with his trade deadline status and with Jack Hughes going forward. I'm happy for both of them. I think we're going to see Jack Hughes in the All-Star game again. A Devil has never won All-Star game MVP. So that was something that was on the minds of Devils fans as well. So, but it was a lot of fun to watch for me. Frank, what was your favorite part of the All-Star game itself?
Like I said, I really like the breakaway challenge. And I like the NHL 21 and 22. I thought it was really funny, like I said, that they all got 21. That was probably like my favorite takeaway or story from the All-Star game, because like, what, we writing this shit? Like, all right, everybody's gonna get 21. We're all gonna go to a tiebreaker. It's gonna come down to the aces page or the one card, the whatever it was, the Queen of Hearts or something like that. So I don't know. I really liked everything, but the two most important things I looked forward to was the blackjack and the breakaway challenge.
Joe?
Yeah, everything I rooted for didn't happen, so I was disappointed in terms of that. But to say the least, it was very entertaining. Trevor Zegras was the highlight for me. Being an NHL player, not being an all-star, technically, he was not an all-star, but being so charismatic and skilled that the NHL, says, screw that. We're bringing you to the skills competition, put on a show for us. And he did just that. He delivered in every single way possible. Trevor Zegras will be forever known to fans, like outside of the Anaheim Ducks, as like, okay, this is the kid who can pretty much do anything. Like, he is a fucking wizard with the puck. So, and maybe it'll get more people to watch the Ducks and watch this kid blossom.
I like seeing Jack Hughes be the best player for pretty much both days. He was very marketed. Mark Messier was asked what he's looking forward to the most before the skills competition started. He said, I'm looking forward to seeing Jack Hughes play. And seeing somebody that plays for my team be as talked about as he was throughout the weekend was really cool to me. I do have high hopes of him being like a top 10 NHL player. I think that's a realistic possibility. And it was on display for everybody to see publicly for the first time during the All-Star competition. And the New Jersey Devils are visiting Chicago 2 Fridays from now. And I'm very excited to go see Jack in person for the first time. I've never seen Jack play in person. So
yeah,
it should be really, really cool. Hopefully he's, doing fine with his COVID and gets back to the ice. They
better he gets it out of the way now. He'll technically be immune on the 25th when we go.
Yeah, and they're stopping testing for non-symptomatic people. So Jack Hughes, if you notice, the interview after the game, no voice. So people were speculating even before any of this actually came down that some of these players were going to go missing for a little bit. But the only thing I'll say about the All-Star weekend, I had two things that bugged me. The first was that Wyatt Russell didn't imitate Captain America at all. I thought we'd see more of him. I feel like he wasn't even there.
He was who Trevor Zegras scored on.
Yeah, I know. And I miss Crosby and Ovechkin. Not having them at the All-Star game is tough. And Patrick Kane, even Evgeny Malkin, like, it's a new generation now. And it's Jack Hughes, it's Connor McDavid, it's Austin Matthews. Huberdeau was outstanding, I thought, in the game that he played. Matthews was more of the disher, and Huberdeau's was more of the goal scorer, which you would think would be the exact opposite. But I enjoyed the weekend overall. Hope you guys did too.
Yeah,
I did. Jack, I feel like Connor McDavid, in at least the skills competition, like, was invisible. Like, he do this fastest skater, and that's it. You don't get to really showcase.
He has no personality.
He has no personality, but like, even like, you don't even get to see his skill in the All-Star skills competition.
Well, the fastest skater doesn't accurately measure the fastest skater.
Exactly. It doesn't. It doesn't, and it doesn't really show your hockey skill.
Yeah, Larkin came in second to half of McDavid's skill because some of his speed ability, and he's the fastest player who ever lived with the puck on his stick.
I would rather there be a challenge where you have to like stick handle through obstacles, and I honestly think Connor McDavid would excel at that better.
Yeah,
he stick handle so fast and effortlessly through stuff, like he goes through defenders.
Not having the relay anymore is tough. I do miss that. That was cool to see, like, guys work together in the skills competition. That really, there was nothing that anybody needed to work together for in this one. So those are my few minor complaints. Dylan Larkin, as Frankie mentioned, came in second to last, and he holds the record for fastest. He had that little like crossover mishap going around the second turn. And, something like that doesn't prove that Dylan Larkin is slower than like Kyrou or McDavid, who came in third, I think, McDavid. Iafallo came in second, I think. He was really fast. So it's a great skill, like, fun thing. But we all know who the fastest player in the league is, and he gets even faster when the puck is on his stick somehow.
I
So,
also think that like the way they set up this course could be different each year. The way where they put the cones, or they're going to decide to put the net. It's looked different from this year from previous years.
yeah.
Like it doesn't always look the same, and that makes a difference when players go around the turn or whatnot. And I think going forward, if they want to change it up a little bit, I was kind of watching a little bit of the Winter Olympics the other day, and I was watching women's snowboarding because that's just what was on TV. So just passing the time. And the way they do it, I think that they could integrate that in the fastest skater is that each player or athlete or whatever you want to call them gets 3 attempts and they take your best attempt. I feel like if they did that in the All-Star game where each racer gets 3 laps around, just in case, like you said, the mishap with the crossover for Dylan Larkin, then like, all right, I messed up this time, but next time maybe I'll have a little better time. But I guess the only problem with that be like players would start to get tired.
I was
after a
gonna
while.
say, like, you know how winded you are after you go around that ice.
Yeah,
like
but you let everybody go once. You sit
that,
down.
I think that would work.
Time. I
Actually,
mean, these
I think
players
that
are
would
taking
work.
NHL shifts, and I mean, you get tired, but you sit down for like 5 minutes and you're fine.
Yeah, I think that would work, especially if like you mishandle a crossover or you lose an edge or something, and you have to catch yourself. That's gonna ruin your entire lap.
Yep.
So I mean, if that happens, okay, you get 2 more tries to not do that. I like that. Another reason, Frank, it seems different is in years past they need to like stay consistent with this. Is the starting point. We've seen them be at the line and then the whistle blows and then they start. We've seen them get a skating start. This year, I believe they had 3 feet prior. They started, and then when they reached the line, then the clock started. So they need to have a universal starting point of how they're going to start their skate. And I kind of like the way they did it this year. Let's see if it's like that next year.
Absolutely. Very good insight. I agree with you guys. Next year's Florida. And I'm very much looking forward to it. As always, it was a fun weekend. What were you going to say?
No, it'll be cool in Florida, but I don't know. It's hard coming off of this Vegas. It seemed like the Vegas stuff was awesome, and hearing the stories about it made the players, I think, want to go. Like the players are going to want to go spend a weekend in Vegas more so than Florida. I don't know if it's going to be.
I mean, if you're
Vegas.
a Leaf player or an Edmonton player, and you get to go to Florida for the weekend.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
in
terms of the incentive for the players, like.
Off ice
activity in the Vegas fan, like Florida still, they have the best team in the league arguably, and they still can't like pack that arena. Come on now.
Yeah, this is a great way to showcase it to those people though.
Yeah, but
I'm excited about it. I really am. So I will ask you guys a yay or nay question in period number 2. Welcome to period 2, where I know we call it shot or no shot sometimes. Wanted to change it up a little bit because I had some questions from last week that I wanted to bring over to this week because, I want to hear your guys' opinion on them, maybe bounce off a couple of mine based on what you guys say when Joey ultimately gives the wrong answer. So I'm going to ask you guys yay or nay to certain questions, and you're going to reply with, as you guessed it, yay or nay. Hockey edition. Every question I have is about hockey because we will be talking about that other sport that has a big event coming up in between our show and the next show in the third period, and I'm sure it's going to be a long-winded conversation.
Alpine skiing.
No, I was talking about luge.
Oh.
What's the difference between luge and bobsledding? One of them's on your back and one of them's on your tummy?
Wasn't one called skeleton, or is that different?
Skeleton's one you almost die. It's like
that's like dangerous.
Yeah, I don't even like watching that.
They call it skeleton for a reason.
I know when I watch it, someone's gonna die. Yeah, I'm not watching that. I watch luge and bobsledding. I like luge though, because that's the one on your back, right?
One thing I was thinking about, I was watching they put a camera like by the guy's legs or something, and they went the bobsledding, and they're going fucking fast. On these turns, they're literally sideways, and they're defying gravity because of how fast they're going. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how do you fucking realize you're good at this? Like, are you sledding with the boys one day when you're little and you're just fucking zooming and you got good control and shit, and you're like, I want to take this to the next level? Yeah. How do you realize you're good at sledding?
What about the ski one where you have to like run around on your skis and then just drop down and start shooting targets.
Shit. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how do you realize you're good at that? Are you
How
just
do we,
playing? Are
how
you
do we
caught
think
playing?
of events like this?
Are you playing Call of Duty on a Ray one day and like, oh yeah, I want to do this?
Hey, yeah, you don't know. I feel like I'd be a good curler too. I'd be out there with the broom, just trying to.
Curling, I understand. A lot of people like grew up playing curling, like it's big in Canada and it's coming along in the U.S. We're doing terrible. We have like no. Do we have a gold medal yet? The U.S. is like having one of their worst.
I'll be
Olympics
honest, I
ever.
haven't really watched.
No,
most
the
of
U.S. is
Olympics.
having one of their worst Olympics ever.
Really?
Like it's bad. And I know the Winter Olympics. I like the Winter Olympics more because I like hockey and bobsledding and curling more than like swimming.
Yeah, I actually like the Summer Olympics better now.
Do you really?
But the only thing I like better is hockey and like Stephen Kampfer's on Team USA. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I like the Winter Olympics for hockey, but the Summer Olympics have been really fun because like I've been really into tennis. This was the first Olympics that I've been into tennis because when it happened before, I didn't watch that much of it. So it was really interesting to see that. The basketball part of it, the way they did that, they did like a 3-on-3 tournament and that, so that was fun. But I just look forward to the Winter Olympics for hockey, and then I'll just casually watch it. And
Yeah, sure. I'm the same way. It's on, of course, from time to time. Like I don't hate it by any means at all. I like any kind of competition. You know me. If it's sports, VP's watching it. Frank, I know you're the same way. If it's sports, we're watching it, no doubt about it. But the thing that lacks in Winter Olympics, besides any hockey player, men or women, because Joe, I know you know a bunch of female. I probably could name more of the female team than the men's team, to be honest with you. Besides the female and male hockey teams and Shaun White, can you name a single Olympian in the winter?
wish I could.
But in the summer, there's a bunch that you can name. Obviously, normally led. I know, like Michael Phelps is on the older side now, but like you knew Michael Phelps, Simone Biles, so it's definitely a more loaded star power in the summer.
I think Jessica Marino is a women's snowboarder.
Did you bet on her?
No, I was just watching her.
Frankie checked
She
the
was-
odds.
she-
She was minus 2 bones, and he's
no.
like, no.
We just had her on, and it was she was from the U.S. and she had like a really bad first run. I think that's her name. It's something like Marino or whatever, Marina, and she fell on her first run, but her second run she did like a double backflip, like 900 1080. It was crazy, and her second run actually got her into the gold medal spot because it was a gold medal contest. But then I was like, I'm going to bed. I'm not finishing this. And I don't know what happened, if she ended up taking gold home or not, but there would be your one gold medal if she did.
Wow,
I don't know. That's
That's crazy.
I feel like there are two types of people who watch the Olympics, and it's gonna sound bad because I'm laughing. There are those people who like are interested and they want their country to win, like they're rooting for the best times. And then there's that asshole, I'm not gonna say names, who are like, I want to see someone eat shit.
Oh yeah, it's true. Where do you fall?
I plead the fifth. There's only those two types of people who watch
Yep.
the Olympics.
You're right. So here's the yay or nay portion of yay or nay. And it's going to go back to the NHL. Joseph, I'll start with you on this one for obvious reasons. Brad Marchand is having an in-person hearing for punching Tristan Jarry in the face yesterday. Jarry, if you watch the video, clearly says something that causes Marchand's wires to cross. He goes over there and full force sucker punches him in the face. An in-person hearing rather than a phone hearing means the suspension could be 5 games or more. It could also be less, but most of the time, if they know it's going to be less, they'll just do an in-person one. So I ask you, Joe, yay or nay, he deserves 5 games or more?
Nay. 5 games is a lot for punching someone. Come on. It's the goalie, yeah.
Our parents have given you less punishment for punching me in the face.
I want to know. I texted someone earlier today about this actually because I was asked about it. So one of our uncles and put me on the spot. If you want to know. And I said that I would love to know what Jarry said because it's something we'll never know.
No,
but I've watched Brad Marchand play in every single one of his games consecutively for the past decade. Brad Marchand has not played a hockey game that I have not seen. With that being said, just to put into perspective here, I haven't seen him get incensed like that in a very long time, to where not only after he punched him in the face, he was, after being skated away, restrained by the ref, found a way to get his stick and jab Jari in the fucking mask. Like, you got to be pretty incensed to do something like that. So Marchand had to have had reason. I would just love to know what Jari said to him.
Yeah, because he's just standing there doing nothing.
Yeah, and you see he punched him there, gets
Yeah.
the helmet. And also, what are the Penguins doing? If anyone would have do that to Jeremy Swayman, Linus Ullmark, Tuukka Rask, especially right there, Brian Rush should be throwing his gloves off and running at Brad Marchand and trying to rip his head off.
Yeah.
The Penguins are cowards for not doing anything to Brad Marchand in this situation. That's what I got to say about the Pittsburgh Penguins, because I know if someone did that to the guy at the other end of the ice, all 5 Bruins would want their head on a stick.
That's the difference between the Penguins and the Bruins, though, because if you look at the 5 players that are out there for Pittsburgh, it's 5 skill guys.
It doesn't
It's
matter.
Gensel,
Crosby should have done something.
Crosby, Rust, Letang, and Dumoulin. Who are those
Crosby.
guys? I mean, Rust is the most likely to like do anything. The other guys are a bunch of like, skill guys who don't. They're all finesse. So
I'm
before
gonna
we
try to-
elaborate on it further, we'll give Frankie's opinion in a second. Did you see earlier in the game where
That's what
Jari was trying to
find.
give?
That's what I'm going to
Jari
find.
was trying to give the fan the puck, and Marchand came over and hit it out of the way. Now that's funny. Things could be funny. I don't think Marchand should have did that. I obviously know what it's like to be a fierce competitor. When someone says something to me while I'm competing, I want to rip your head off. I get where Marchand, but I mean, you can't be punching people in the head. Frank, yay or nay? Does he deserve 5 games or more?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Joe. I'm gonna go with yay, just
You wanna-
because Marchand he's a repeat offender. I mean, he's been suspended 6 times in his career, I think. It's just there's no need, no matter if you're provoked or not. There was seconds left in the game. Just let the time run out. Just get off the ice, especially taking a shot at somebody's head, which is dangerous. If you're gonna hit him, slap him in the chest or something with your stick, or slap him in the leg if you're gonna do anything, even though he shouldn't have done nothing. But don't go for the head twice. Don't punch him in the face and then give him a little nick in the face. I just thought that was poor sportsmanship by Marchand. We don't know what Jari said, but you gotta retaliate. You can't retaliate. You gotta bottle that up. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like he should be suspended.
I'm gonna try to share that video, Vin, that you're talking about right here. I don't know if audio is gonna play. I know I had issues last time I tried this, but let's see.
If audio plays, we'll just be quiet. Yeah, no audio. So Jari's gonna go give the puck to a fan, and out of nowhere, here comes Brad Marchand and says, "Screw you." So that definitely led to what happened later in the game, I would think, something like that. Or was that after? Was that after the game?
What?
Was that after the incident or before?
That was way before. The incident was
thinking
right
way
at the end
before.
of the game.
Yeah, it was at the end of the game.
So why would he do that in the first place, though?
It was in
I mean,
Boston,
it's Brad Marchand.
and it was
Yeah,
in
but,
Boston.
Yeah, I understand, but it's why? That's just a dick thing to do.
Yeah,
If you had no reason to do it.
It's Marchand.
It's Brad Marchand.
That's what he does.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't care who you are. It's it's not the right thing to do.
Before
No,
you go, Joe, I'm just going to throw I'm in the middle of both of you.
Were
I
you able
don't
to hear the
think-
audio on that clip real quick?
No audio
okay,
on that clip.
'Cause it
I'm
was
in the
last
middle of
thing in
both
my
of you.
ear.
I don't think he deserves nothing like Joey probably thinks, and I don't think he deserves 5 like Frankie thinks. I'd give him 1 or 2 if I was in charge of player safety. I would not have offered him an in-person. I would have did it over the phone and given him 1 or 2. But is he a repeat offender by definition, Frank or
Yeah.
Joe?
He
He
just
is?
was suspended this year.
Oh, okay. Because I know
think
like
looked it up. It's
things
6
go
times in
away,
his
right?
career, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
but not all those
It
are on
goes
his
away.
record. They
Yeah,
go
it
away
goes away
after a
a certain
It's
time.
like a
I know
speeding
he
ticket.
was suspended 3 games, I think, this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's right. I do remember that. Okay.
It was
You can't be continuously doing this.
Yeah, no.
It was against the Canucks. His hit on Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
That's right.
Blue foot.
That's right. I remember this, Lufa. We argued
this-
about it on this show.
This also happened. And Frank, the way Brad Marchand plays, he'll do anything to get in the guy's head, and he thinks
Oh, I
knocking
know.
the-
He licked some people. I know.
knocking the puck off of Jari's stick when he's trying to give it to a Penguins fan. And the best part about that, the Bees fans behind the glass went bananas when he did that.
Oh yeah, I know. Whoever was about to get that puck was happy they didn't.
No, it was Jari was going to toss it to a Pens fan.
Oh,
and he whacked it off. And then the Bees fan sitting next to the Pens fan were fucking going bananas. So honestly, like it's just funny games or
entertainment.
It's a way to get in the goalie's head. I don't know. Marchand doesn't, but and then I thought this was actually a really cool play. Off of a face-off, Crosby's stick breaks, and Brad Marchand. This you could argue this is interference, but this is just gamesmanship at its finest. Of Brad Marchand kind of not allowing Crosby to get to the bench. Watch this.
And the
so
best
you see a
part
stick
about...
breaks, and Brad Marchand boxing him out so he can't go grab a stick.
The funniest part about it, Crosby and Marchand are like S tier friends. So I mean, them two and Bergeron were line mates at the World Cup of Hockey, and I honestly think it was the greatest line I've ever seen in any competition. I think Bergeron, Crosby, Marchand. The only way I think it could be topped is if like you replaced Crosby with McDavid or Bergeron with McDavid. Like really, that's the only way I could see that line being tossed. So yes, as soon as Brad Marchand was given a match penalty at the end, we knew he was at minimum getting a hearing. But the fact that it's an in-person hearing means it's probably 5 or more. But it could also we've seen in-persons be less than 5 though.
Yeah, I would say they're going to give him 3 games again.
Yeah,
he's going to plead his case. Something.
Marshall's done some pretty funny things in the past.
Oh yeah.
But I just feel like this like kind of took it too far.
Yeah, I was disappointed, especially when the game is over. It meant nothing. The Bruins were losing.
Literally, there's 20 seconds. You let that run out and get off the ice.
I was as a Bruins fan, I was very disappointed watching it. It was very, very late for me. I watched the game recorded, and I was very disappointed because now not only are they going to be without Brad Marchand when they play the Carolina Hurricanes next, they're probably going to be without Patrice Bergeron. I think it's actually confirmed. He took a nasty, unfortunate, no ill intent on Crosby's side. It was Crosby kind of got locked up with him, and Patrice Bergeron went into the boards awkwardly, slammed his head, and he's got a deep concussion history. So it's honestly not a fun time to be a Bruins fan. 2 of your best players are out. One of them for stupidity, one of them for unfortunes. So.
Yep, and I'm sure we'll have plenty to say about the Bruins on our next show when there are more games played, and there's probably going to be a big bit of news that comes out in between now and then in regards to Boston Bruins goaltending. But, you know, we'll get to that another time when it becomes official. So we'll get back to yay or nay. The Metropolitan Division won the All-Star game. Yay or nay, the Stanley Cup champion has a good chance of coming from the Metro. Frank, I'll start with you.
A good chance? I mean, yeah, there's a
25% chance.
No, there's not. I don't think there's a 25% chance.
I'm gonna go with.
I would say you think there's a good chance if there are 2 teams in the division that you could see winning the cup. I only see one in the Central. I see. Yeah, I'll tell you where I could go.
So you think it's a good chance
if there are at least 2 teams that could win the cup from that division, in your opinion?
Well, then
it's a tough question. That's why I wrote it.
Tough.
That's why I wrote it. It's not. I'm not supposed to. Hey, do you think McDavid's a good hockey player? Yay! No, it's supposed to make you think.
Yeah, I mean, then I would say yay because there is potential that there are 2 Stanley Cup champions coming out of the Metro. The Carolina Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the Rangers' year or if they could do it, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
it depends if they make a big trade deadline.
Yeah,
if they traded for Patrick Kane, then yeah.
The Penguins are another team that I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I would go with yay. But I honestly don't think that Stanley Cup champion is going to come out of the Metro this year. So that's why I was kind of leaning nay. But for you saying, is there a good chance? Yeah, there's the Carolina Hurricanes, maybe the New York Rangers, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Boston Bruins.
They're in the Atlantic.
Bruins in Atlantic. Yeah, the Bruins are in the Atlantic.
The Atlantic has a better than good chance, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say it's good because I would say there are better. Good is where I'll leave it.
All right, Joe.
I'm going to say big nay, because I think there are in the other 3 divisions more cup contenders, in my opinion, than in the Metro.
Well, that's where my was.
Yeah, I like you look at some of the other divisions and you look potential cup contenders. Obviously, both Florida teams, Florida and Tampa Bay. You can throw the Leafs and Bruins in there and argue till we're blue in the face about that. But you can't forget the Vegas Golden Knights my three teams from the Pacific who I think are for sure cup contenders. I would not be surprised one bit. Are the Vegas Golden Knights, Anaheim Ducks, and Calgary Flames. They play such a good system of hockey under Daryl Sutter. And then in the Central, the Colorado Avalanche are, in my opinion, the best team in the league. So if they win the cup, I would be zero surprised. Not to mention the Wild, Blues. I don't know if the Predators are going to, I don't know. Well, that's a topic but honestly, the Carolina Hurricanes are my only team that I could see winning the cup, and I don't even think they're going to do it. So I'm going to say no.
All right. I'm going to go with yay, but I'm kind of with Frankie. They're the only team. I think they have two cup contenders. I think Pittsburgh and Carolina are, but Washington could get hot. We never talk about Washington. They could get, they have Ovechkin, Backstrom, Kuznetsov, Oshie, two good goalies. Carlson's one of the best defensemen in the NHL. He'll be top 10 in Norris Trophy voting. So, Washington's up there too. The only division that I think just is a good chance is the division with the best team, and that's the Central. I don't see anybody in the Central beating Colorado, and so if Colorado doesn't win the cup, then I don't think the Central wins the cup. So I definitely think it'll be interesting to see. The Atlantic has the best chance, in my opinion, because I do believe me and Joey can scream at each other. I know we love screaming at each other over Atlantic Division hierarchy debates, but the Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning, Toronto Maple Leafs, and Boston Bruins, if healthy, the Bruins, are all cup contenders, in my opinion. So you go from 4 to 2 to 1 to maybe 3. I don't think it's the Ducks year. I think they're a piece away and some experience away. The Ducks, if they play in a playoff series, even against the Kings, I might pick the Ducks, but the Kings have way more playoff experience than the Ducks. The Ducks have Getzlaff and then a bunch of kids. At least the Kings, with all those kids, they still have Doughty and Quick and Kopitar. And, I see all these teams making some trades to get some playoff experience. So the New York Rangers don't do it for me. Their young kids aren't stepping up. It's all Zibanejad, Panarin. Fox and Chesterkin are young. I'm talking forwards for the Rangers. But
I think the Ducks. I just think the Ducks have a little more veteran experience than you think. They got Gibson, Shattenkirk, Cam Fowler's still there, Rickard Rakell.
You're right. You make a good point. And
especially in the playoffs, if you mix that leadership and experience with what if Troy Terry, Sonny Milano, Zegras, Sam Steele, what if these kids just explode even more than they are in the playoffs?
You're right.
That's why I consider them a cup contender. And then in the Central. Yeah, you make a good point about the other teams that are good having to go through Colorado, but would you be surprised if the Wild get really,
the Wild are the only one besides Colorado?
I like the Blues too. The Blues can get hot.
I don't like Binnington anymore. I don't.
I think he can get good and get hot in the playoffs, and then
he could 100%.
I don't know. I think they get, especially with this kid Kyrou.
Is there going to be a team that makes the playoffs that has just 0% chance in your brain?
Yes.
Because the Preds have Saros. Was that going to be the team you said?
No. I don't see the Preds winning the cup. I don't see the Kings
I'm saying if they did, there's something you can point to on every team in the playoffs that you can say, if this happens with this team, they can win the cup.
The Leafs won't win the cup.
See, that's just crazy.
The Leafs won't win a playoff series.
If the top 4 in that team do what they do, they can win the cup. There's something on every team that makes the playoffs where you can point to and say, if this happens for them, they can do it. So that's true. I'm talking the true, just have everybody humming, then they have the chance to win the cup. That's the Colorados, the Vegases, the Tampa Bays. You guys know what I mean too. If Matthews, Marner, Nylander, and Tavares all have the best 20 games of their careers at the same time in April, they can win the cup, and you know it. But they haven't done that yet, so nobody actually believes it till they see it, and I completely understand why. I've never once argued that you guys are dumb for thinking that. I just do think there's going to be one year where they make a deep run. They might not win the cup, but I think they win a playoff series in the Matthews era. Jesus, I hope so.
That foursome will get dismembered, and it'll just be John Tavares and his fucking PJs before.
That's actually really funny. Well, another team Joey brought up, the Calgary Flames. Jonathan Ice Hockey has 54 points in 42 games played this season. He is a top 10 NHL goal scorer. Everybody else in the top 10 has a partner from their team with them, except for Jonathan Huberdeau. And Barkov has missed significant time. Oh, and Kaprizov. So I ask you, yay or nay, Johnny Hockey has a chance to win the Hart Trophy. Joe, I'll start with you on this one.
That's actually a good one. I'll say yay. I think he'll definitely get votes, and you need votes to have a chance. I just think there are other players who will outvote him or get outvoted or whatever, however you want to word that. So I don't think he'll win it, but to say he has a chance, yes, 100%.
Frank?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with Joey here because you say you don't have a chance. It's not true entirely, but I don't think he's winning it. I wouldn't I actually would honestly be shocked if he won it, just because there's so many other players who will be more likely to win it over him. So I'm gonna go with what am I going? Nay, right?
Well, yeah, but see, I agree with that. But I mean, if you get votes, that means you had a chance. That's the only reason I say yay, because he is the most valuable player to his team. I believe that.
That's the criteria for the Hart Trophy.
Yeah. So, but I just think there are other players who are even more valuable to their team, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's other players that are more valuable to their team who are on better teams than the Calgary Flames. That's why I just don't see it. I'm gonna go with nay because I would be shocked. Right. I would say the percentage is like, you're gonna call me crazy, probably less than like 5% that he won.
Interesting.
I think it's really low. So I'm gonna go with nay.
I think he's in the same position Taylor Hall was in 2018. Lots of people would have said nay in January or February, and then he ended up winning it. And yes, the 25-game point streak really helped that he had from January to March. That like really helped in 2018.
Taylor Hall's been sick.
Taylor Hall has been sick. If I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a vote for the Hart Trophy, but I would love nothing more. The Hart Trophy is voted for by like senior NHL writers for across various platforms, The Athletic, ESPN. If Fanside had ever got a vote, because we have a vote for the Cy Young, we have a vote for American League MVP, I believe. We have votes. Like some of our writers have votes. It's my dream to vote for the Hart Trophy, and I really want to make that dream come true. I really, truly do. And if I had a vote for the Hart Trophy this year, my top three right now in order would be Huberdeau, Kaprizov, Gaudreau. So I'm going hard yay because I would vote for him. So that's kind of where I'm at. Those would be my top three. So yes, I'm a hard yay on Johnny Gaudreau's chances to win the Hart Trophy. Last one. 2 nights ago, I guess you could say 1 night ago, depending on how you view time zones, Canada versus USA women's hockey in the Olympics was an outstanding game. It was 3-2 Canada. But then Marie-Philippe Poulin, who is the greatest women's hockey player of all time, had a penalty shot awarded to her, and she scored. And she came in with a lot of speed, something non-traditionally seen with men's ice hockey players. I kind of like the approach. Like, hey, go in as fast as you can and just rip one, and you have a pretty good chance to score. And she did. Canada hangs on 4-2. USA severely outplays them, and their new goaltender, Canada, steals the show and takes the win. Barring a major upset, these two will meet again in the gold medal game. It's not like men's where Slovakia could throw a wrench in there. So the Swiss, Russia, Sweden, Finland, those countries all throw a wrench in the mix. That's not the case in women's. Barring a major upset, they will meet again in the gold medal game. So I ask you, starting with Frank, yay or nay, if they play in the gold medal game, you will watch it live regardless of what time it is.
I'll say yay. I was looking to watch it the other night. I believe it was on the USA Network, and that was just a prelim game, and I was getting excited for it.
Me too. I watched the whole second half of the game.
Fun fact: you know what the over under on that game was?
I'm gonna guess it was high.
I'm gonna guess it was 8.5.
Vin?
I'm gonna say just high. I don't know.
4.5.
Oh, it was low.
Oh,
what? It was low.
It
Holy
was
shnikes.
4.5. Just because Canada, I've been keeping track of the women's hockey Olympics.
So have I.
Canada beat, I don't know the teams they beat off the top of my head. I know they beat like Sweden like 12-1, maybe Finland 11-1, something like that.
Yeah, it was Finland. We beat the Swiss 8-0.
And then they played Russia the Russian Olympic Committee, and they beat them 6-1. And then USA they won a game like 8-0, another game 5-2 or whatnot. So they were both playing good defensively. I didn't see it going under 4.5 by any means, but that getting off topic.
Something's going off someone's butt or face mask into the net. Like
in a hockey game, that's just
Yeah.
like super low.
Yeah,
I just thought it was
100%.
ridiculous. I've never seen an over-under in a hockey game that low, but that's besides the point. I'm getting off topic, but yeah, I would absolutely watch that game because I enjoy watching like women's hockey. I think it's entertaining, and these are two powerhouses. These are the two cream of the crops of the women's hockey teams. It doesn't get much better than this. They're always going at it. They're always dominating, no matter who they're playing, what era it's a part of. I cannot wait to see these two teams go at it in a gold medal game, and I will want to watch it.
Joe?
Yeah, I want to say yay. My problem is I never know when any of this shit. I need like one of you guys to help me. I mean, I don't know when it's going on. I had no
Just
idea.
look on your betting app.
I had no idea that game was going
Just
on.
look on
Then
ESPN.
until you
ESPN, your
sent
betting
me-
app, there are 1,000 places you can look.
You're right. That requires me to do something. But it's easier if one of y'all just tell me. I got nothing. I got nothing for you. Vin, when you sent me a snap of you watching it, and I had no idea it was the end of the game. I had no idea that was going on. Otherwise, I probably would have been tuned in. But instead, I was watching the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 6 for the third time. So that's just
Outstanding TV. Frank, you
all
haven't
right.
watched yet?
No,
what
That's weird.
I just watched the season finale right before I went live. That's all I'll say.
You know who's on Team USA? Comfer on Colorado. His sister Jessie is on Team USA, number 18. So that's always cool to see when some of these girls who we know through the NHL, and I think the NHL does a great job of promoting this stuff. I can't wait to watch them. The men start today or
no,
tomorrow?
I thought they start last night.
Tomorrow. Oh, maybe they did last night. I
Is
know
there any-
now that the All-Star game is over, because like the NHL was going to do the All-Star game and the Olympics, and obviously the All-Star game would have been before. So I think the men they either started yesterday or maybe Team USA starts today. Here, I'll get an
Team
official
USA
word
didn't
on that.
start because I was looking at the Winter Olympic hockey games, and I saw I don't know if it was Sweden or Switzerland or somebody was playing somebody. And I went to go look at like their past games, and it said like their past games, they didn't have any past games played. So then I just assumed that was the men's because the women's were underway already, getting through the group play-ins or whatever. So I'm pretty sure the men started last night. But
7 a.m. tomorrow morning.
is when they start.
Yep.
So who played last night? It was like Sweden, and I don't think it was women's.
I don't know, but I have the men's schedule for USA right here, all on USA Network.
Interesting.
So
Well, some hockey was playing last night, and I don't think it was women's because they didn't give any like past history on their team games. So I was confused. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it must be the men's.
interesting. Well, there you have it. I will send you guys the schedule so you can keep track with it. We'll discuss men's and women's Olympic hockey on this show next week. I can promise you that much.
Is there any notable like men on the USA team?
I will read off the roster to you in a minute. Hold over the time for me while you're there. Because
me and Frankie just looked at each other and smiled.
Joey and Frankie have absolutely nothing to say unless
What do you
I'm
want to
leading.
talk about? What do you
I
want
want to know what Bev you're on. Is this like 3 or 4?
I have final sip on this guy.
Oh, that took a while. Usually you're on like 3 by now.
Took a while. That's actually the last one. I only have these two.
He's gonna
I'm all out. No, I peed
during
right
during
before.
breaking that. He's gonna,
Gatorade me, bitch.
I wish I had someone to bring me a Gatorade. I had I made sure I took a pee right before, and it's already kind of starting to hit me.
Joe, I was craving a Gatorade earlier. The other day when I told you I went to
Yeah,
the store to get a
I
Gatorade.
know,
Oh, it was so good.
I know your favorite flavor of Gatorade.
For Team USA.
We don't care anymore. Me and Frankie are talking.
Yeah.
Please don't
On
interrupt.
defense, Drew Hellison, David Warsofsky,
Oh,
Nick Perbix,
first NHL goal versus the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Jake Sanderson, who was drafted 5th overall by the Ottawa Senators in 2020, Brock Faber, Steven Kampfer, Brian Cooper, Alex Ness. At forward, Matty Beniers, Seattle Kraken 2nd overall pick in 2021. Kenny Agostino.
Oh, another Bruin. That's three Bruins.
But hey, Kenny Agostino holds a special place in this podcast, Art, because He's one of 10 players since we've been watching hockey that played for both the Devils and Bruins. We love those guys. If you play for the Devils and Bruins, you hold a special place on this podcast's heart. And then, of course, following Kenny Agostino, Sam Henches, Nathan Smith, Nick Abruzzi, Brandon Bryson, Brian O'Neill, Brian Cooper. No, Brian Cooper's a defenseman. I said him already. Mark McLaughlin, Sean Farrell, Noah Cates, Nick Shore. We know Nick Shore. Ben Myers, Andy Mile, and Matt Nyes, and Justin Abdelkader. Goaltending. I knew you guys would give me an for Justin Abdelkader. Goaltenders, Drew Comesso, Blackhawks #1 goalie prospect.
Oh, yeah.
Strassman, Pat Nagel. So Comesso's going to be the starter there. So make sure you're tuning in to Team USA, men and women.
5 or 6 guys. 5 or 6 guys I like watched. In my day.
Oh, Kenny Agostino when he came to the Devils, I was like a little excited for a minute there, but
I can't wait to see Comesso play.
Work out. Yeah, Comesso's sick. He was going to play for the World Juniors. But that ended up not happening thanks to that asshole we know as COVID. Hockey fans of the NHL might know more players on Russia, Finland, and Sweden based on like the KHL. You guys going to play over there, and I don't. Datsuk playing anymore? Probably not.
Do you have any more yay or nays?
No.
Oh.
You like the games. I appreciate that you guys like the games. I kept the game.
You only had like 4.
Well, I always only have like 4 or 5, but I tried to keep the games a little short this week.
Frankie's got to come up.
15.
No,
Frankie's got to come up with one on the spot.
No, but we have prop bets. We have prop bets in the Super Sunday portion of our show. So I wanted to keep that part short because basically period 3, which we're going to get to in a couple seconds here, is basically one big game. Think about it. And with that, we'll let you find out for yourself in period number 3.
I want to know what Frankie's laughing. We ain't going anywhere until I find out what Frankie's laughing at.
No, it's nothing really. It's just the way you look. Because you made a comment. No,
boy, you ugly.
No.
Boy, you
made a
ugly.
Comment, and then Vinny's like, no, I was saving that. And then you got all sad, and it made me laugh. So just your emotion.
All right, well, I'm sending it over to period 3.
Where's my money, bitch?
Welcome to period 3, bitch, where we're talking Super Sunday. It's Super Week. It's one of the greatest weeks in American culture. Max Kellerman, our friend, Mr. Cliff, wrong as fuck about Tom Brady. We know Max Kellerman, complete moron. Tom Brady has had a Hall of Fame career since the Cliff prediction. If you only take the part of Tom Brady's career from the Cliff prediction to right now, he'd be in the Hall of Fame just based on that alone. So Max Kellerman, we all still think you're a clown, even though you apologize. He said that the Super Bowl is the last thing in American culture that we all galvanize together to watch. And when he says we all, he means like everyone Like we get together, we watch the World Series, the Stanley Cup Final. I know we watch WrestleMania with each other year after year, but we like those things. We like WrestleMania. I like WrestleMania. I'm not even a wrestling fan, but I like sports.
Right,
so I watch
for a good Mania.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for Mania. I cannot wait for Mania.
We'll watch it.
We'll watch it. We'll have snacks. No, yeah. But not everybody gets together for Mania though. Your mom don't give a crap about Mania. My mom don't give a shit about Mania. They're all watching the Super Bowl though.
Yeah,
I can guarantee. True. And so Kellerman says that the Super Bowl is the last event like that in the world that we have that everybody watches, no matter if you like it or not. And so I don't know if I fully agree with it because I think if Biden went on the TV tomorrow and gave a State of the Union address, I think 90% of people would tune in, at least for a little bit. Joe, you probably would be one of the few that wouldn't because you don't give a shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what's going on. I live
Joey goes, who's Biden?
Yeah, Joey goes, who's that? Is George Bush still the president? But
I had to ask. I saw the name of the vice president. I had to ask someone who is this person. I'm not even kidding.
Joey's very out of tune.
once they said it's the vice president, I'm like, oh yeah, that rings a bell. But anyway,
Yeah,
about the
but if
Super
Kamala
Bowl,
Harris played for the Boston Bruins, Joe would be like, yeah,
oh,
Kamala,
I would
let's
know her
go."
first
Joey
NHL
Banks, she
goal
was born
number.
in '56. Her favorite animal is a tiger.
About the Super Bowl, Vin, I was at work and I asked, I'm trying to make conversation. I hate sitting in silence.
I
And I
don't,
was
I don't sit in silence well.
Like,
at all.
what's the fun if we're just gonna sit here? And
Maybe
not
it's just the
talk?
way we
Like,
were raised.
I like music playing. Now sometimes I'll throw headphones in and listen to music. But anyway, I don't know these people too much. I'm floating around, and I asked this person, you got any fun plans for Super Bowl Sunday? Assuming like what you just said, everyone fucking watches the Super Bowl. Like, I don't know anyone who doesn't watch the Super Bowl. And they're like, no, I'm really not into football. And I'm like, well, you gonna watch it like at home or something? And they're like, no, I'm not gonna watch it. And I was like, and I'm thinking to myself, this conversation is going fucking nowhere. I left that conversation. I went in the kitchen and fucking put music on.
Okay.
So
when
are
I say
people who
everyone,
don't-
when you say everyone, you don't mean literally everyone.
No, but it is. I would say 90% of
90% of people.
People.
I mean, didn't we break a record last year? Like it was the most watched Super Bowl in years. Or like people love football, and I think there's more than just the football. There's halftime. There's commercials. There's announcements. There's 5 hours of pregame, and guess who's going to be watching all 5 hours of that pregame? Me. I want a breakdown of every single position if I could. Like I take it all in. Not everyone's quite like me, but everyone is for the most part. People who are into culture are excited for Super Bowl Sunday. They were trying on. I was listening to ESPN 1000. They were trying to list off some other events that some people like. At least a majority of people tune into. I think a fair amount of people watch football on Thanksgiving.
Well, I think that's there's always the family member who was interested, and it's just on.
But that's the same thing with the Super Bowl.
No, Super Bowl. I agree with Skylar here. People who don't care are still going to go out of their way to go to a Super Bowl party.
Yes.
Someone's not going. It's not like they're not going to show up to Thanksgiving because the football is going to be on. They're just there and football's on. But people who don't give a shit about football will get in their car and go to a party specifically for football.
Okay, so what else in the world is like that? The Grammys used to be, and so did the Oscars, but nobody cares anymore. Like everything's recorded now too, and every like big TV show event, like Game of Thrones. You watched Game of Thrones when all the snacks were finished and everybody was ready to click play. Like it wasn't like 20 years ago when like the new episode of this debuted and you had to be in front of the TV at 8:00 or you were going to miss it. The election coverage. But the thing about election coverage in 2022, and I think Kellerman's point was that years ago we would all get together for certain things and now we don't anymore except for the Super Bowl. Election coverage, there are websites out there that get you better information on the results of the voting a lot quicker than the news outlets. And then, of course, the news outlets, Fox wants to make things look in favor of the red. CNN wants to make things look in favor of the blue. But now, if you want the more accurate information that's unbiased and you care more about that stuff, you go find the sites and you look at the numbers that way. Nobody cares if there's any of these award shows anymore. Even the political stuff is so divisive. Nobody wants to be a part. The Super Bowl and none of the other sports have a championship where there's just one game. Frank, are we getting together for all 7 games of the NBA final? No.
I mean, I would.
Okay, I would. But me and you are different. We're weirdos. But would you have a party for all 7 games of the Stanley Cup final? No. But if it went to game 7, you might quickly try and rally as many people as you can in the 2 days.
And you make a good point because we watched when the Bucks won the championship here. Remember that?
Yes.
We didn't watch every game leading up to it, but we watched the game they won.
Exactly.
It's like you get to the 5th, 6th, 7th game, then you're like, oh, you want to come?
The trophy's in the building. Yeah, the trophy's in the building. Someone could clinch it tonight. Yeah. But game 1 of the World Series, the All-Star game in baseball, maybe. I love the MLB All-Star game. It's the best All-Star game by far. The Pro Bowl stinks. The NHL's fun because of the skills competition. The NBA All-Star game is going to end 215 to 216. I'm indifferent on it because, I don't know. I like NBA basketball, but the All-Star game stinks. Same thing with football. Baseball All-Star game, but it's also a Tuesday. So, we throwing a banger on a Tuesday night. I don't know. I kind of agree with that whole thing.
Frank, wasn't I with you when in 2014 when the Spurs won the finals?
I believe you were. I believe we were watching it in the family room. I'm pretty sure, right?
I don't know. I thought we were by Dylan, our buddy Dylan.
Yes.
Weren't you there?
Yes.
I want to say you were there. Yeah.
Although
I
I
thought
don't
we
think
watched the Spurs win a championship.
I
Here.
thought the Spurs lost. Or no,
It
the
was in
Spurs beat the Heat.
I know I was
with
watching
LeBron.
because I like the Spurs.
It was
I know, and
LeBron.
that's
It
what made me
was
think of
Ray Allen hit the 3, but they still lost.
Maybe we
I
were
wanna
watching when
say.
the Cavs won here. We were watching an NBA championship.
Yeah.
always here.
Yeah.
And Vin, you and I have seen the presentation of the Stanley Cup together every
I
single
don't think
year.
that'll ever change.
Yeah, like last year I was somewhere else, and I was like, oh shit, the Lightning are going to win the cup, so I came home.
Yeah, it has to be me and you together in the room when the Stanley Cup is presented.
Yeah.
That just has to be the case.
And it's hard in
the
hockey,
world.
'cause it could happen in Game 5, could happen
Yeah.
in Game 6.
Yeah, that's true. I do remember that last year. You like quickly came home when the Lightning were looking like they were really going to beat the
The
Habs.
second intermission, I was like, they're not going to come back.
Yeah, so let's.
And another point, Vin, that you make about the Super Bowl. I want to say this so I don't forget it because it is so true, and I just want to make this point, and you're going to agree with me. No matter you could hate football, you don't have to watch football, but no matter what, you will always know the outcome of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're right.
You'll either hear it from somebody, you'll see it online, you'll be curious and be like, I don't care, but I want to know who won. You'll always know the outcome of the Super Bowl. The Monday after Super Bowl, you could ask somebody who won the Super Bowl. I guarantee you they give you the right answer. Nobody's going to be like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
I guarantee you there might not be a person you could ask where they'd be like, I don't know.
So I ask you, Frank, what's the best super snack?
This was tough. I wrote down 4.
Oh, you fucking like looked up or you wrote down stuff?
I wrote down stuff because I didn't want to like.
What? Wait, I missed it. What did you say? I was reading Skylar's comment.
Who, me or Joey?
Frankie.
He didn't say anything.
I said it's tough. It's a tough one. I have 4. I wrote down 4 things because I didn't want to like forget any of them.
Listen, there's no number. There's no limitation to super snacks. Okay.
But when you say
want
best,
you want 4 super
snacks?
snacks?
Number 1.
All right, say you're 4, and then maybe we could discuss out the best. Maybe I can help influence you.
2 kind of go together. So
This is where I get interested.
I'll start off with.
Joey's like snacks.
I'll start off with Doritos. I love Doritos as they are, and especially on Super Bowl. But not only Doritos, but any chip. I want to be watching the game and just have a chip, just watching a couple chips. It's a perfect Super Bowl snack, which also goes along with dips. I'm a big dip guy, huge dip guy. Super Bowl is your time to test out Fiesta dip, French onion dip, bacon dip, buffalo dip, any kind of dip you got. It's at a Super Bowl party. Also, pizza.
I'm gonna have no fucking options left.
and pizza and wings, too. Joe,
You done? You left me with like potato skin.
Vinny said I could say 4. I came up with 4.
All right, Frank, gun to head. You get 1. Pick one.
I would say I want a slice of pizza
All right.
on Super Bowl.
Slice of pizza, Super Bowl
Yeah,
Sunday.
absolutely.
Pizza. It's a good choice.
What do
It's a
you?
good pizza place.
They call it football pizza for a reason.
football pizza.
We got Vinny's favorite dip right here. Scott points out. For me, it's gonna be, and it's not.
I haven't done
necessarily-
that. I haven't done that in years, for the record.
It's not even necessarily my favorite anymore, just because I've had it, so many times in my life. It's just, and everyone makes it differently, but it's like grass it's like turf at the football. It is. You're not going to a party and there's not some kind of buffalo dip. And Vinny knew exactly what I was gonna say. We've had it so much in our day. But to me, like, that is the best Super Bowl snack because there's always going to be some kind of buffalo dip with Tostitos. You dip them in Tostito scoops, whatever you want to dabble in. But my personal favorite is Wheat Thins and buffalo dip.
Yeah, Wheat Thins and buffalo dip is
perfect.
awesome. Shout out Jeremy for that invention.
Yeah, so
are underrated.
my favorite and
Nobody
the
talks about
best, I guess if we're classifying it as you have written down the best Super Bowl snack, it's got to be buffalo dip for me.
All right. Yeah. See, you both said my 2 favorite. Buffalo dip and buffalo wings. I like buffalo. If the Buffalo Bills make it to the Super Bowl with Josh Allen in the next 5 years, I will not put anything in my mouth to eat if there's not some sort of Buffalo association to it. I want the Bills to make the Super Bowl so bad one year. And you know what's going to happen?
It's a good point.
The
Skylar.
year.
I plan on, yeah. Plan on
Oh,
making
yeah.
like taco
Oh, yeah.
dip of some kind.
Oh yeah, love taco dip. New
No beans.
wrinkle, putting raw onions in it. It adds a little crunch. So I really enjoy all things Buffalo. I have a feeling my luck is I really want to root for the Bills in the Super Bowl one year. They'll play the Bears. Like it'll be the year Justin Fields figures it out, and like they'll beat Green Bay in the NFC Championship or San Francisco or something. And then who's their opponent in the Super Bowl? The team that I've wanted to see win the Super Bowl for 20 years, the Buffalo Bills. You know, I like the Bills a lot. They're a top 5 team of mine. I would say now that Tom's out of Tampa, they're like affirmatively in my top 5. So it's funny. Nobody cares about Tampa anymore.
Who?
So yeah, I would go with yeah, exactly. The Wings and Buffalo. So, guys, I have another one for you. What is your all-time favorite Super Bowl memory? Frank, I will start with you.
Well, I root for the Pittsburgh Steelers and I root for the Chicago Bears. They're my 2 teams. I got my NFC team and I got my AFC team. When I think of Super Bowl, it's crazy. I've watched every Super Bowl from, I don't know, as long as I could remember, so that I could physically remember. But there's one game that sticks out for me that for some reason I'll never forget. And maybe it's because the Pittsburgh Steelers won the Super Bowl this year. It was Super Bowl 43 when the Pittsburgh Steelers played the Arizona Cardinals. And the Pittsburgh Steelers won 27-23. It was back in 2009. And, my dad's a big Steelers fan. And how much I like the Steelers. We had our terrible tower. We were down here watching it on that TV. There was a couch here. I'll never forget it. Terrible tower. We were screaming and yelling. We were so happy. It was just a great moment. And the way the Steelers have been lately and Big Ben leaving, and I don't know when I'll get another opportunity to watch the Steelers win a championship with my dad. It might not happen. They got the roster for it, but you never know. I mean,
Quarterback.
They need a quarterback. But if they don't get that figured out, that's something I may never be able to experience this moment again. It was absolutely electric down to the wire. So
Yeah.
It's something like, and I was so happy because I like the Steelers too. So this moment, it's something I'll never forget. This is my favorite Super Bowl moment.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody will ever forget Big Ben making that miraculous throw for the miraculous catch with 35 seconds left to take the lead over the Cardinals, who were 30 seconds away from winning the Super Bowl themselves. It was such a great Super Bowl that it got a Madden cover. I mean, the Madden 10 cover was Larry Fitzgerald going up against Troy Polamalu face to face. And it's like 2 guys on the same Madden cover. Well, it's because the Super Bowl was so great. So that's actually a fantastic pick. Joe, you're up.
Yeah, Frank, that's actually a phenomenal answer. It's going to be hard for us to top that because obviously you had that moment with your dad. And that's just incredible. For me, we kind of talked about it last week, but it'll forever be my favorite Super Bowl because of the disappointment for a majority of the game. The Patriots were losing to the Atlanta Falcons. The score's 28-3. What is going on? And then Tom Brady, does what he always does and makes this miraculous, unthinkable comeback to beat the Atlanta Falcons and what was in my opinion the best finish to a Super Bowl. I was pretty quick to pull up the video because he probably knew what I was going to say. That 28-3 comeback will live forever for me. Tom Brady, it was my favorite Super Bowl of his, and it's going to be hard to ever break that one.
I think the greatest Super Bowl game ever played in terms of entertainment was the one that came 2 years prior to this, and that's when the Seahawks thought it would be a good idea to pass on the goal line instead of give it to the best running back in the NFL, and that allowed Tom Brady to win Super Bowl number 5 at the time. But that's not my favorite Super Bowl memory. My favorite Super Bowl memory actually was last year. And last year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers became the first ever team to play in the Super Bowl at home. And I cherish the Tom Brady moments that I have with Joey. Obviously, there's the Falcons one, the Seahawks one, the NFC or the AFC Championship game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's really like where the "Are you worried?" thing started. Do you remember the AFC Championship game against the Jaguars? That's when I was asking, "Are you worried?" That's where it started.
And then you kept asking again during that Falcons game.
Yeah. And then I think it happened many other times where it was like, "Are you worried?" I think I even started the Chiefs Bucks Super Bowl with it. But doing it with the Bucks was just a little bit different because it really, in my opinion, is it Belichick or is it Brady is the greatest debate in the history of American team sport. I truly believe that because there are people on both sides. Tom Brady he left the Patriots and they went 7-9. And he went to Tampa Bay, who was 7-9 themselves the year before. And he magically brought them to a Super Bowl victory. I think it is the greatest achievement of his career. And he proved that no matter where he went, he was able to win. He almost won it. I mean, who knows what happens if they beat the Rams this year? I mean, the Rams are in the Super Bowl because they beat the 49ers. The Bucks probably would have beaten the 49ers if they would have not allowed Cooper Kupp to get that game at the end. So to me, Tom Brady, he was the greatest in my brain before last year's Super Bowl. But I think last year, if you argue it after last year, you just hate Tom Brady to the point of no return, and he could have won 1,000 straight Super Bowls and you would have never said it. So Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback who ever lived. He proved it to me the most in the last year's Super Bowl. Was that 45? Super Bowl 45?
55
or 55. I mean, sorry. Yeah. 55. So that's where I'm at with that. That's my favorite Super Bowl of all time.
Very
You-
good.
Yeah,
That was
all around.
Absolutely. Who's your favorite player on each team? Frank, you first.
Well, for the Cincinnati Bengals, it's got to be Joe Burrow, just because I've watched him go through college. I gotten to see his play well before the NFL. So watching him adapt through his junior year, right? He was a full senior. He went all four, right?
I don't believe he went all four. He transferred from Ohio State to LSU.
Oh, okay. So, but regardless, he played for 4 years in college, is what I'm saying, right?
I don't think so.
Oh no, how many
No.
years did he play?
I think it was just the 3 needed to advance to the NFL.
Oh, okay. Well, regardless, I've gotten to see him play at in college, then seeing him progress to the NFL. He's just an absolute stud. There's just some swagger that this kid has, even off the field. So I love Joe Burrow. So that's my pick for the Bengals. And for the Rams, it would have to be Cooper Kupp, because this guy, I don't know what they feed this guy. The way he catches the ball, and like you said, you mentioned a couple weeks ago or last week, yards after catch. I mean, this guy is he just makes plays that are just so athletically, like you would think, impossible, but he's a great player, and I wish he was on my favorite team.
Joe?
Frank, I'll feed off of you here with Cooper Kupp as my favorite player for the Rams as well, because I mean, even though he was kind of the reason, he was the dagger to the pretty much Tom Brady ending. I was
I mean, look at them go.
yeah, I was mesmerized. This guy is a game changer. They got him, receiving punts, I believe, and he could be a game changer in this year's Super Bowl. So you can't not like a guy like that. And I'm a huge sucker for wide receivers. I love a good wide receiver, which will transition into my favorite Bengal, which I had a feeling you guys, I think Vinny's going to say Joe Burrow as well. I don't know. Joe Burrow's awesome. I'm starting to really become a fan of his, but I love the 1-2 punch with Jamar Chase. I'm a big fan of him. I have a bad habit, bad or good, depends how you look at it, of becoming fans of players once they're on my fantasy team and kind of continuing to be fans of these players even years past. So it's like them becoming on my fantasy team will get them inducted into my fandom, and then afterwards I'm just a fan forever. And I feel like that's what happened with Jamar Chase, because I took him. I had a little insight. I didn't, like we all know on this show, I don't really watch much college football, but I had a little insight from our buddy. Shout out you, Jeremy. I know you're not watching, but he told me that, they played together at LSU, and this kid's going to be awesome with Joe Burrow full season. And sure as shit, he was. And he quickly became my favorite player on the Bengals. So I'm excited to see him on the big stage.
Yeah, I mean, Jamar Chase, I got to see him in person. I bring up the SEC title game a lot that I went to between LSU and Georgia because, man, it just brings a smile to my face thinking about that day. But the quarterback in that game as well was Joe Burrow, and he is my favorite player on the Cincinnati Bengals. He wears number 9. That's my number. I believe he's a top 5 quarterback now that Tom is retired. I had him at 6 before Tom retired. So I think he's a very good player. He's going to, elevate his game even more. Many Pro Bowls, many deep playoff runs are in his future. I'm not going to say many Super Bowls are in his future because he's in one now, and you never know when the next time he'll be back is. But of course, you would think that there's going to be other opportunities in his career as well. So looking forward to see what the future holds for Mr. Burrow. As far as the Rams, in my lifetime, I struggle to think of a defensive player. J.J. Watt, maybe. J.J. Watt, Khalil Mack, all really good players in their time. Now we're seeing T.J. Watt, but Aaron Donald might be the best non-quarterback in the NFL, and he just creates complete destruction. And watching him play kind of like reminds me of, what the Chicago Bears should be or should get from some of their guys. And they do from time to time, but he's my favorite player on the Rams. He's a great player. He's extremely fun to watch. And I'm excited to see Donald and Burrow go head to head this upcoming Sunday.
And Donald is just, like you said, he's a tank. And Joe Burrow is prone to getting sacked a lot. We've seen that.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how Joe Burrow reacts to Aaron Donald and the defense of the Rams.
Yep. The Rams and the Bengals each have, it went away, right? The Rams and the Bengals each have completely different strategies to being here in the Super Bowl. The Bengals were 4-12, I want to say, in 2020, and they landed the first overall pick in 2020, in which they drafted Joe Burrow with the first overall pick, and then he got hurt a little bit into last season, so they had another top 10 pick in which they selected Jamar Chase, and we saw how drafting and developing has been a key for the Bengals over the last 2 to 3 years, and the defense has slowly but surely progressed and developed and gotten better. And then you got a team like the Rams, who traded 1,000 draft picks to have the number 1 overall pick in 2016, and they selected Jared Goff, who was an okay quarterback for them, but he was also like kind of bad. But they still managed to get to the Super Bowl with him. But, it was kind of in spite of him. And really, Aaron Donald they drafted. That was nice. But they traded for Leonard Floyd. Or I can't remember if they traded for him or signed him in free agency. They traded for Von Miller. They traded for Odell Beckham Jr. They kind of like pushed all their chips in. And when they finally realized Jared Goff's not winning us the Super Bowl, they traded more draft capital for Matthew Stafford. And they kind of built a football salary cap version of a super team. And they have elite players at every position. They have Cooper Kupp in place, Odell Beckham Jr., and a lot of it is through great trading decisions and basically pushing all their chips in. They're probably going to be pretty bad like 5 years from now. And that's going to cause, it's going to be hard to rebuild right away because of how little draft capital they have over the next 3 or 4 drafts. And they pushed it all in for this season with Von Miller and Odell Beckham Jr. and Matthew Stafford. So I ask you guys, Joe, I'll start with you on this one. Which way of team building do you prefer? The drafting and developing of the Cincinnati Bengals or the poker Texas Hold'em push all your chips in theory of the Los Angeles Rams?
Definitely the drafting and developing way of the Cincinnati Bengals. I like the idea of getting a quarterback young, right out of college, someone who's, succeeded in college, especially.
Not a guarantee to succeed in the league, though.
Not a guarantee to succeed in the league. We've seen it with a lot of quarterbacks who are amazing in college and then they come to the NFL and it's a different ballgame. But I feel like if you're able to find a player who succeeded at both, then, it could be game over from there. You don't even necessarily have to be a superstar in college. We've seen players who weren't necessarily the biggest, best top overall picks in college come to the NFL and it's a different ballgame and just be miraculous. And then to have that 1-2 punch with Burrow and Chase, another guy who played in college, who they drafted, they developed, it just seems like a foolproof system here. And then I like the idea of doing that and then kind of integrating other pieces from the outside, like to fill those holes. That to me is the perfect way to do it. But easier said than done.
Frank?
Yeah, so you're really right here. You got 2 polar opposite teams. One who's drafted and developing, and the other one just went for broke. And me personally, if it's my favorite team, I strongly prefer the drafting and developing process. Like, infinitely times better than going for broke into your team, because if the Bengals are a young team right now, and it's clear and obvious that based on their success this year, and they're still growing, and these players are getting better, and they're getting years under their belt in the NFL, that's good long term. The Rams are good short term. Like you said, the Rams are going to probably fall off a cliff within the next 5 years. They got a lot of veterans, they got a lot of experience, but that's not good necessarily for the long term look for a franchise. And that's what I want. If my team could contend at how young they are now, imagine what they're going to do in 5, 6, 7 years later on. They're only going to get better. Experience is power, and that power is going to turn into success. So I strongly love what the Bengals did here.
I agree with you guys. I would take the route of the Bengals. I will say, though, part of me wishes like the Bears would have went all in with that defense. And when they realized Mitchell Trubisky wasn't the guy, instead of drafting Justin Fields, and now he has to develop, but the defense is getting progressively worse while he develops, maybe they could have traded for Matthew Stafford or someone good who's on the trade market. Kyler Murray might be available now because he took all the Arizona stuff off his social media accounts, and all of a sudden it seems like he hates the Arizona Cardinals for some reason. Like, he might be available now. Russell Wilson. Part of me thinks I think it's dependent on the franchise. Like, the Bears would have been smart to trade for Odell Beckham Jr. or Von Miller to add to that defense. And maybe if they added a quarterback, they had an idiot coach. Matt Nagy's a boob, but Sean McVay's an elite coach. And if Russell Wilson leaves Seattle, Tom retired, the Rams might have the only elite coach quarterback duo left in the NFC with McVay and Stafford. So it's going to be interesting to see how that rolls out. So I'm with you. If you're starting from scratch, I'd go with the Bengals. But then there are teams like the Bears who have an elite defense but no quarterback, and you can add to the defense with someone like Von Miller. Then I guess it could have worked. But, now you're the Bears and you have this declining defense and the quarterback is developing. So by the time Justin Fields is a star quarterback, where's the defense going to be? It's tough to win in the NFL. When you make it to the Super Bowl, you deserve all the recognition that you get.
Yeah, I agree with you. Oh, Joe, you want to say?
No, you go ahead. I'll go after.
Because I agree with what you're saying, Vin. And yeah, you're right to a point. But is it worth giving up everything you're giving up just for that moment? Like, think about how much the Rams had to give up to get Stafford, to get they didn't really give up anything for OBJ, right? Because he wasn't a free agent?
No. But if they win the Super Bowl, yeah, I would say it was worth it.
Yeah,
that
but
is
then
your end goal. That is everyone's end goal.
That is your goal, but then you kind of stink for the next few years potentially.
Yeah,
like things could really go south. I mean, I think the main goal of a franchise is to consistently win. You want to be that modern day dynasty. Right?
Sure, that's really hard though.
It's great to win. Like, oh yeah, we won the Super Bowl. That's great. A lot of recognition for our team, but I just don't want to stink then in a few years. I mean,
here's what I was gonna say. A good way to look at it, Frank, is you kind of look at two teams. We'll say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who built this awesome team, brought that city a Super Bowl. Tom Brady, they built that team in Tampa. They got the Super Bowl, but now what? Tom Brady's gone. No, are they going to be good next year? I don't think they're going to really be that good next year.
They're not going to make the playoffs, I don't think.
And you look at a team who
depends what quarterback they get.
You look at a team who went to draft and
yeah.
Well, you look at the team who drafted and developed. Like, you went that route in the Kansas City Chiefs, for example. And yeah, they got their Super Bowl, but now look, they're going to be in the mix to win that Super Bowl year after year after year, and no one's really going anywhere. And all they really can do now is fill the holes that they need. So I think the right answer is draft and develop and fill the holes. But I mean, the end goal for everyone is to win the Super Bowl. And if you're able to give that city a Super Bowl, regardless of how your future is going to be, that's also going to be a route that teams take. And I don't hate it if they're able to get it done.
Who would you rather have been a fan of in the last 15 years? The New York Football Giants or the Baltimore Ravens? The New York Football Giants snuck into the playoffs twice, won the Super Bowl both times, and haven't been in the playoffs any other year. The Baltimore Ravens, outside of this year, Lamar was hurt most of the year. Outside of this year, the Ravens are in the playoffs every single year. They have a legit chance to win the Super Bowl every year, but they only have one in the last 15. Who would you rather be a fan of? I would take the Giants.
Yeah, but now it's like more
I would-
exciting for the
I would probably
Ravens.
take the Ravens if they
And-
they have the one Super Bowl.
Because now if you're a Giants fan, it's boring. It sucks. Like you're not happy you're a Giants fan.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm a Bears fan, so like,
So it's, I mean, I like consistently. I don't like to sit here and be on that high. And then all of a sudden, like for 4 years, I'm like, oh, it's another season. This is going to blow.
okay, what about who's a team that's really good right now that hasn't won the Super Bowl yet? Let's say the Rams lose on Sunday. Would you rather be a fan of the Rams or the Giants in the last 15 years? Rams have 0, and the Giants have 2. But the Rams, they're in the playoffs every year. They're making trades for
But
great
they're
players.
exciting every year.
They're exciting, but like the ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl. It's a very fine argument that I accept answers from both sides. Me personally, I'm taking the Super Bowls.
And yeah,
Those are supposed to be like the greatest moments of your sports fan life. So like, or you could bring it over to baseball. Who would you
I
rather
get what
be?
you're saying.
Who would you
get
rather be a
example.
fan of in the last 10 years? The Cubs or the White Sox? The White Sox are going to be awesome for the next 7 years. The Cubs have the one World Series. They're probably going to be pretty bad for the next 5 or 6. So like, who would you rather be a fan of? Most people would say the Cubs.
I agree with I would pick
Yeah,
the
I could
Giants
see
if you're
that.
comparing
I
it to the
agree with that.
Ravens or comparing it to the Rams if they lose this Sunday. But I because that's just because the Ravens have that Super Bowl. And yeah, you want to see your team win the Super Bowl. You also want to see them have a chance to win the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Totally. You guys excited for halftime?
I'm very excited for halftime.
Why is
I'm
that?
actually not that excited.
Yeah, I had a feeling Frankie wouldn't be.
Mary J.
they've-
Blige, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame type talent.
I'm.
love-
Go ahead.
I mean, I love Eminem. I love Snoop Dogg. The other guys, I haven't really listened to that much. So it's like
Kendrick Lamar is pretty good.
he's all right.
And then Mary J. Blige is like a borderline legend, wouldn't you say? Joe?
I just want it to be entertaining. That's all.
I think it's going to
Yeah.
be so entertaining. I haven't been this, and this is it's going to sound weird. I haven't been this excited for a halftime show since my favorite halftime show. I don't know if you were going to ask about favorite halftime show ever.
No, I wasn't, but you could say it. I think I know it, obviously. It came in the worst Super Bowl ever.
It was a blowout Super Bowl. The Seattle Seahawks blew out the Denver Broncos. It was in 2014. I don't know the number Super Bowl. Bruno Mars opens up the Super Bowl halftime show with the sick drum solo. Starts playing. I love Bruno Mars. I think his songs are so catchy, and there's really nothing bad I have to say about Bruno Mars. And then all of a sudden he transitions into the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They perform my favorite Chili Pepper song of all time, Give It Away. And then it goes right back to Bruno Mars. That, to me, I don't know if there's ever going to be a Super Bowl halftime show that I enjoy more than that, but I am so excited for this one because I am a huge fan of Snoop Dogg. I love Eminem. I've been listening to Eminem. I've been listening to Dr. Dre. And those three guys, Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, they all have so many songs together. And then you throw in Kendrick Lamar and Mary J. Blige. I think it's going to be very entertaining. I'm super excited for it because my favorite of them all, probably my favorite rapper of all time, could be a chalk answer, I don't know, is Eminem. So I'm super excited for it.
There you go. I am too. I really am too. I can't wait. Eminem's awesome. I love Snoop Dogg. There were some bets. None of these are on the site I have here, but like, what color will Eminem's hair be? Blonde, black, or other? Will more than 2 people be wearing sunglasses? I think no. I think exactly 2 will be wearing sunglasses. Will Snoop Dogg be smoking live on stage? I say no, just because it's on NBC. But he'll definitely be ripped out of his mind. That's for damn sure. But I'm pretty excited for it. So.
Or how about any wardrobe malfunctions that we've seen in Super Bowl past? That's what I'm laughing at. It was brought to my attention, Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction.
That's hilarious. So, I have a couple prop Super Bowl bets for you. You want me to read them off, and you give me your answer?
Let's hear it.
Any kick to hit the uprights. Yes is plus 400. No is minus 550.
Like the posts?
Yeah.
I'd say no.
I think you have to bet no. I mean, you could.
I mean,
me
it's
and Fred-
you're giving up a lot of chalk right there.
I know.
You're giving up a lot.
You're odds guys though, but how often? Like you got to go with the thing that's most.
If
likely.
Cody Parkey was in the Super Bowl, absolutely, you'd smash the yes. Like I'm not even joking, because like it happens so often,
Yeah.
and I don't think it'd be plus 400 to be honest with you.
I think McPherson is arguably the best kicker in the league, or at least
That's
becoming the
another
best
thing you have
kicker
to
in the
take
league.
into account.
And McPherson every time I've seen this kid kick something, it is dead center. So that's going to eliminate that half. And so, yeah, I'm going to say it's an easy no.
Yeah, I
All
would
right.
say I agree. Easy, no, it's not going to happen. The only way it maybe would happen, if somebody had like attempt a 58 to 60 yarder and like, oh, it's swinging right. But even then, I don't think the odds of it hitting the post would be.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll be too windy over in LA.
Coin toss outcome: heads -105, tails -105.
See, for me, this is such a stupid bet because you're not. It should be +100, +100.
It should. You're losing. Yeah,
You're losing money. Anyone who takes this bet is an idiot. You're betting. It's a 50-50 chance.
I put 100 on heads last year and won 50.
Okay.
50.
Yeah, no, you should be winning
No.
100. You should be winning 95.
Maybe I did.
Yeah.
Maybe I did
was like,
win
you
90.
got ripped off.
No, maybe
Yeah.
it was 100. Maybe it was 100. I did heads.
Yeah, it was -200.
I did heads. I'll try and find it. I did
Someone
heads.
pocketed his money.
The way you would win 50 if it was -200, and
Yeah.
it ain't no -200.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's a weighted coin over there.
Now,
But yeah, if it's -105 on your site, here's the advice from me: don't take it because that's a coin flip. There's a 50-50 chance you have better odds to get more value if you go put $100 on black on a virtual roulette board. It's 50-50, and you get paid 1-to-1. You shouldn't not get paid 1-to-1 if you're betting a 50-50 thing. That's just, I don't know.
it's literally one of the only things in sports that may be 50-50 is the coin flip.
Yeah.
So I just don't. It's a way for them to make money. Obviously.
Oh yeah, they
don't
make
have to
profit on every
Yeah.
single bet
Yeah,
because they're not paying 1-to-1.
Right.
Color of the Gatorade poured on the winning head coach:
See, I'm bad at this.
clear/water +250, orange +300, yellow/green 350, blue 400, none +600, red/pink +1200, purple +1400.
I don't think I've ever seen purple. Probably why it's +1400.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
I'm bad at this because if you ask me what it was last year, I would have to go with orange. I just seem like that's like the standard, and I think that's the favorite on yours.
No, second favorite.
What's the favorite?
Clear/water.
Is the
Clear,
favorite? It's not gonna be clear.
Clear/water though could be your favorite, Frank. The Glacier
The
Cherry.
Glacier Cherry? There's no way they're dumping Glacier Cherry.
They're not wasting that delicious, fruitful product.
Could you just imagine it being dumped and it's just white? Like I don't see it. I would say orange.
All
The
right.
Bengal orange.
Here's why I hate this because like you think it's a chance, but like the players got to have some say on what flavor Gatorade they're actually drinking throughout the game. No,
I don't know. I don't know how
my
have a
guess. Okay,
designated bucket. Hey, don't drink out of the coach Gatorade.
No,
What
what
are
if
they
like
taking a survey before the game?
what if the whole team just hates like or the orange flavored Gatorade? No one's gonna like.
I guess
feel
the way
like
you could like
teams-
really do research, be like, what color Gatorade has the Bengals been drinking all year? What color Gatorade has the Rams?
yeah,
been
or like
drinking
look
all year?
at like try to find
Yeah.
out what it was last game. Like are they changed? They're not changing it up, but
Maybe-
then that team needs to win.
Maybe that's why it's clear and is mine or +250 because Joe Burrow loves Glacier Cherry.
Here's another option. What if they have all the flavors on the sideline, and the like when it's time to pour the Gatorade, they choose a bucket. So there's other options. Like we're not like they're not only drinking one flavor throughout the whole game. Like what if there's other flavors? There's no
There
way.
probably are.
Yeah.
I would guarantee there are. So,
So it's
I
just
don't
a matter
know.
of what Gatorade bucket they grab.
I'm going yellow green.
I'm going orange.
I'd go with orange too.
Jersey number of the first touchdown scorer. Under 23.5, -140. Over 23.5, +110. I think it's under.
I'll
For
take
sure.
the under too. I was
Because like
thinking of,
Cooper Cup,
isn't Jamar
Odell
Chase
Beckham
under?
Jr., Jamar Chase,
yeah,
Burrow,
Smash
Stafford.
the under
Yeah.
23.5.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, Joe
I
Burrow
agree.
could run it in, and he's number 9.
yeah. So is
Jamar
Stafford.
Chase is number
Stafford
one.
is number
I was trying
9
to think-
too.
I was trying to think of other players.
Stafford's
some of them-
9.
Pretty much just need them not to run it in.
I was gonna
Odell
say
Beckham
if you run it
Jr..
in, you're screwed because they're in like the 50s.
Yeah.
Odell
Or
Beckham Jr.
or a tight end. Uzama's like high. He's got a high number.
But the kickers
Wait.
are low. Oh no, touchdown scorer.
Yeah, touchdown scorer.
You're really screwed if it's a defensive score.
This is the one that's crazy to me. Will there be an octopus? Yes, +1400. No, minus 2,500.
That's
What do you
just
mean
one
an
to stay
I
away
don't
from.
really get it.
It's like
what
someone throwing an octopus.
There's something we don't know.
Detroit isn't involved.
Yeah,
Stafford is.
Will there be an octopus? Does that have something to do with? Why does that sound familiar? Like during the halftime show, like an octopus, like figurine.
I have no idea, but if we see an octopus, I will laugh so hard.
I
Does it
almost
have to
want to
be
throw
thrown, or
5
does
on
it have to
yes.
be-
No, I don't know if it's a real octopus.
Well, yeah, I don't know the rules.
I'm picturing like you know how you had the left shark during like
Yeah.
Katy Perry's halftime
Yeah.
show, like an octopus like that, like a
You
costume.
think? I was thinking real octopus.
Mm.
Why would the odds be so high to see a
I'm gonna
fake
go
octopus?
yes.
A kid could be wearing an octopus shirt.
I might throw a little something on yes. I will go bananas if I see that.
Who would you pick? Who would you pick as your first touchdown scorer?
Oh, this is always
I
tough.
got mine.
You go first. I got to think.
Jamar Chase.
Plus 800, good for fourth best out of both teams.
I would say Cooper Kupp. I think that Matthew Stafford is going to be targeting him a lot in a big game like this. So I'll
Yep,
say
he's
Cooper
the
Kupp.
number one option. I would pick Odell Beckham Jr. Fifth
What
best
am I
plus
at?
900. For
What am I at?
plus
He's a-
500. Frankie's like,
That's,
phone.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
But for first touchdown score, they're always high odds no matter who you pick. So
Yep. So another thing that makes the Super Bowl fun are those prop bets. We got some commercials coming up. What do you guys think?
I'll go here real quick. I'm so excited for the commercials, and there's one that I'm specifically excited for, and it's not your traditional like Doritos or a beer commercial. I'm just a huge fan of this guy. Even Frank, you do too. Dave, the rapper, aka Lil Dicky.
Lil Dicky.
yeah,
I don't know if you know this. I don't know. I forget the company, but he's got a commercial, and he posted like a little trailer for it. And I'm a huge Lil Dicky fan. I think he's hilarious. I watched both of season 1 and season 2 multiple times of his show. Dave, it's on Hulu FX. He landed a commercial, and he's advertising it as he wasn't able to get a halftime show because he is a rapper. He wasn't able to get on the halftime show. So he's throwing himself.
Probably not big enough for that, but
no, he's nowhere near big enough for that. So he's throwing himself. He's doing a first quarter show. So in between the first quarter, whatever you call that, the quarter show, he's doing a quarter show. In between that segment of commercials, in between the first quarter and the second quarter, there's gonna be a Lil Dicky commercial, and I'm so excited to see what he does or what
that's
it is.
hilarious.
And he posted like a little commercial, like advertising
funny.
it. So make sure if you're watching, think of me when you see Dave on the screen
That's
during
funny.
those first quarter and second quarter. I'm so excited. What if he's gonna like actually have a performance for like 90 seconds?
yeah, that's hilarious. I like Dave. I'm excited. You have to pay to do the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it is
honestly-
a commercial. There is an there is a company that's doing it for
Yeah,
you.
so good for him. Make money, don't spend money. Lil
Yeah.
Dicky. Good for him. Frank, what do you got?
I love the Super Bowls. It's like I don't want to go. During the Super Bowl, I don't know when to go to the bathroom.
No, it's hard.
Do I want to? I don't want to miss like this funny commercial, and I don't want to go during the game, and I don't want to go during halftime. So it's like, but you got to go eventually. So, but the Super Bowl commercials, I really look forward to them. In fact, last night or a couple nights ago, on I forgot what station it was, maybe CBS, Super Bowl's greatest commercials. They did an hour-long special, and I just started watching it last night. And it's the best Super Bowl commercials of all time. It's like a countdown. They do the top 10 with some honorable mentions, like the best Budweiser commercials, best Doritos, whatever commercials. And I got through like 15 minutes of it, and I was laughing my ass off with some of these commercials. They are great, and I cannot wait to see what's in store for us this year.
Awesome. One more prop bet to go with the commercials that I saved. Over under 4.5 athletes of non-football players it included football players. Over under 4.5 NBA, MLB, or NFL players featured in at least one commercial throughout the entire Super Bowl.
I saw this prop bet.
So if one commercial has 5, that's only one.
Oh, commercials or players?
Yeah, number of commercials with at
'Cause-
least one NFL, MLB, or NBA player.
Wait, I got breaking news for you. Then you're gonna love this. Canadians name Hall of Fame forward Martin St. Louis coach after firing
Wow.
Dominique Ducharme.
Wow.
Martin St. Louis behind the bench. That's sick.
That is sick.
Wow.
We are a hockey show, don't forget. But yeah, Martin St. Louis.
Wow.
Martin St. Louis, a player that we loved to watch for both
Oh
the
my God, I
Tampa Bay
love Martin
Lightning
St. Louis.
and the New York Rangers,
That's
is
crazy.
back in the
Wow.
coaching game.
Holy crap. I'm so excited.
That's sick, yeah.
That's amazing. Martin St. Louis.
That's awesome.
He scored a goal against the Canadians to beat them in overtime, didn't he? With the Rangers? Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'll
He's-
never forget.
The puck
His-
got stripped by who was the Canadian? It might have even been Subban. Stripped the puck from the Ranger player, fed St. Louis, and he ripped it over Tokarski's shoulder. Oh yeah. That's awesome.
That's sick.
That is sick. I'm very happy.
I'm
When
excited.
St. Louis was the first ever National Hockey League player to retire, that made me cry. Because that was like, when I first started watching hockey, when guys retired, I didn't give a crap because I didn't know much about them. St. Louis was one of the first players that I watched a lot that retired. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So
Back to the Super Bowl. Another commercial. Or were you guys done? I kind of
no, we weren't done. No, we weren't done yet. We'll get to that in a minute. Number of commercials with at least one athlete in it. And
See-
MLB, NFL, or NBA were included. No hockey.
I saw this prop, but it said 7.5. But I think it was 7.5 players for the one I saw.
Oh yeah, no, because I think that's easy. Last year there was one.
I would say it's
Last year
over.
there was one commercial with 10 NFL guys in it.
I think there's going to be a lot of advertising. I would say over just because
I'm going
I
to say
think
over too.
There might be a lot of advertising with the NBA All-Star game coming up.
LeBron will be in a commercial.
Exactly.
There's already the one with
exactly.
Zach Levine in it.
Chris Paul doing a State Farm commercial.
The
I've seen
Manning
that.
brothers will be in one. There's
Exactly.
State Farm with Rodgers and Mahomes.
Yeah, so
Uh,
easily over.
I don't know about baseball. I mean, Otani might be in a commercial. That wouldn't.
I mean,
surprise me
baseball's
at all.
in a lockout, so it's kind of tough.
Yeah, I don't.
Those guys
I'm
can
not
do whatever
counting
they
on
want
baseball,
even more right now. They don't have jobs. You
No, I
have
know,
more of
but-
a job than a baseball player right now.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I would say the over easy. Wasn't there a commercial last year with a bunch of people?
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Yeah.
That's only
What?
one commercial.
That's one commercial.
Oh, it has to be 4 separate commercials?
Yeah, 5.
I still
actually.
think. I still
I
yeah.
think too.
Yeah, I still think, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because like I said, LeBron will have one. The
Yeah.
Manning brothers will have one. There will be the State Farm with either Rodgers.
I
or
honestly think Tom
There's
Brady might
guarantee
be
we
one.
see-
Tom Brady might have. Tom Brady probably will have one actually. Gronk with what's the USAA? The
Oh
it
my God,
insurance?
Yeah.
The insurance for people of military families.
Guys,
Patrick
makes a good
Mahomes and
point
Aaron
here.
Rodgers, they do their State Farm stuff.
Yeah, we only said that 3 times.
Skylar makes a good point.
I was
here,
reading something that
advertising
I
MLB The
really
Show.
want to tell you.
I'm only kidding.
You're gonna like why I wasn't paying attention when I read what I'm about to read.
All right, go for it.
And I bring this up now because I 100% believe that our favorite company in the world, or arguably Disney, is going to drop a bomb on us they always do, and it's going to give me goosebumps. Obi-Wan Kenobi is starts streaming May 25th, and I have a feeling we're going to get our first snippet visually of that show during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Disney
Darth
is
Vader will be in it too.
Disney is 100% going to do something to blow everyone's mind and steal the show during a Super Bowl commercial. And it's going to make me totally forget about the Super Bowl for a solid 30 minutes after I see this commercial.
And Doctor Strange.
Yes, that's another thing. I think Disney is going to, Marvel/Disney is going to do something with Doctor Strange as well. I think you're going to see the TV show Kenobi and Doctor Strange. Some big stuff happen during Super Bowl.
Oh, I can't wait. You're right. When things besides football make the Super Bowl exciting, and that's what I like about it. It's like everybody's world coming together, and that's why Kellerman has a point. There are just so many great things that come from it. And then, of course, you're going to have your ones that they're not going to have any star power in it. They'll just have your traditional commercial actors and actresses. Doritos, always good for a really funny one. Snickers, always good with a really funny one. And, those companies that are always out there, the car commercials, different brands of cars and stuff. We're getting word that there's one with Paul Rudd that's supposed to be really funny. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, and I think Paramount Plus will drop a bombshell on us too. We already saw a snippet of that commercial that had like Master Chief in it, Beavis and Butthead, South Park characters.
Oh, that had Super Bowl commercial vibes.
It did. You're right, because they were all humming the song.
Right now at this point, Paramount Plus is fairly new. They're trying to sell it. I think that was just the tip of the iceberg, and we're going to get an even bigger bombshell come Super Bowl.
I agree. Joe, do you remember that time? I can't remember who sent us the video. It was in a church, and there was a church singer that started singing, just singing the Halo theme song, church style. So funny. Cracked me up. So, guys, I think that time of the show has come, and I've been looking forward to this for 3 weeks, because for 3 weeks we've argued over picks and who's going to win this, who's going to win that. I've had my triumphs. I've had my failures. You've had your triumphs. You've had your failures. But now it all comes down to a big kahuna. It is the Super Bowl 56 between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams. Frank, you have the pleasure of being the first person in the history of Bar Down to give a Super Bowl prediction, and why.
All right. So obviously it's not easy because both teams are here for a reason, right? You got to respect both teams for being here. They put their blood and sweat and tears on the line to get to this point. And I'm not picking with my heart because the team I think that's going to win is not who I would like to see win it. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. I think it's just, first reason, they're home. Having home field advantage in a Super Bowl is crazy, right? It's only ever happened once before this. And look at what happened. Bucks were home. They won the Super Bowl. They dominated. That home crowd. I mean, yeah, you're going to get all walks of life coming to the Super Bowl, but people from Los Angeles are more inclined to go because it's easier for them to go to. It's going to be roaring. And I just think home field advantage is one of the many reasons why I think they're going to win. Along with, I do think their roster is slightly better. They have veterans on their team, and I believe that experience helps you a lot in big situations like this. I also have two interesting facts for you. One, I don't know. They announced like what teams will be wearing what jerseys. The Rams are wearing their white jerseys, which I thought was kind of weird. I thought they'd be wearing their blue jerseys, but
they're
whatever.
Technically the road team. I don't know like what determines that, but everything like you know how like the team that's on the right is usually the home team and on the bottom is the home team. The Bengals are technically like the home team.
Well, that's why the Rams are wearing white.
And that's why they're.
I have a crazy stat for you. Obviously, this is just.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah. I don't know if Joey does though, but
I have a stat to feed off what you're about to say.
And then I have another cool point too. But anyway, Joe, the last 17 Super Bowls, the team that has worn white has won 14 out of the 17 Super Bowls.
I did know that.
You did know that. Well,
yeah, I did not. I only knew that because like it was a big deal with Brady on what jersey like they would wear.
And I just thought that was insane. Like is it just a coincidence? Probably. The colored jersey you wear is not going to decide if you win the Super Bowl. But I just thought that was a crazy, crazy stat. But I do believe that the roster has that veteran instinct. The Rams will take it. I believe. I would love to see Joe Burrow win the Super Bowl. I think that would be so sick just because, I'm not high up on Matthew Stafford as it is. But I'm not going to pick with my heart. I'm going to pick with my head and use my resources and why I think the Rams are going to win. And that's who I'm going to go with. But really quick, before anybody else goes, my sister sent me a text today, and she knows, or you guys know how like Simpsons predict shit all the time. Like Simpsons is the show that predicts stuff, right? Did you know they had the Bengals and Rams in the Super Bowl?
Are you serious? When?
And I don't know. She sent me the picture. It said Bengals and Rams. The Simpsons. Because like the Simpsons predict everything and whatever. The Simpsons had Bengals Rams in the Super Bowl in one of their episodes, and actually they had the Bengals winning 34-31. So I just thought that was an interesting fact, but I'm picking the Rams. That's my pick.
Well, I'll go ahead and feed off that with agreeing with
Really quick, Frank, you brought up the Super Bowl stat about white versus color.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what color the 3 teams that didn't win the Super Bowl or weren't wearing white?
Is it orange?
All of them were green.
Green.
The Packers and the Eagles.
Wow. Interesting.
So either green or white have won the Super Bowl.
In the last 17 years, that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the picture. That's one of the pictures.
I'm going to go ahead and agree with Mr. Homer Simpson here. And I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to upset. And I say upset because, yes, I agree with everything you said, Frank. I think the Rams have a better team all around. I just think Joe Burrow is on another level right now, and the path that he's taken in order to get to where he's at right now is remarkable, going up against the Raiders, who I thought would win, the Titans, who I thought would win, and the Chiefs, who I honestly thought were probably going to beat them. But the Bengals shut me up every single time. Maybe they probably don't want me to go with them because I've gone against them leading up to this point. But, I mean, they are just on a wave of upsets that I think is going to continue going into LA. And, yes, it's on the road, but technically on the road. You know, yes, you make a great point about the Rams being at home, and it's such a huge thing in football. But I don't know. I just think Joe Burrow is on a new level where he's going to conquer any obstacles thrown at him, whether it's 9 sacks in a game against the Titans, like we saw, or was that against the Raiders? I don't know, or playing on the road in an away stadium. So I think Joe Burrow is going to be able to pull this one off and kind of cement himself as like one of the top 2, maybe best quarterback active in the league.
There you go. There's Joey and Frankie's picks. I'm curious where people think I would go with this. Do I agree with Frankie or do I agree with Joey? Frank, if you had to guess, would you say I agree with you or Joey?
I think you're going to agree with me just of how highly you've talked about Matthew Stafford the whole season and the Rams. I would be shocked if you chose the Bengals.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't want the Bengals to win, but I think you're going to choose the Rams.
Joe?
I agree. You're going to choose the Rams?
If I got to choose who wins the Super Bowl, Roger Goodell calls me right now and says, Vince, I'm going to have my referees rig the game to whoever you want to win right now. I would choose the Cincinnati Bengals. I really would. Joe Burrow is one of my favorites. Saw him at LSU. Love LSU. Love the SEC. I do not think the Super Bowl is going to go his way. I do not think it's going to be close. I think the Los Angeles Rams are going to beat the Cincinnati Bengals by 2 scores or more. And I will tell you why. The biggest weakness of the Cincinnati Bengals is their offensive line. They probably, because of their bad offensive line, you could make the case that they have the worst roster of any team to make the playoffs. But their offense was still so explosive with their great receivers and Joe Burrow making outstanding explosive plays. He got sacked because of his bad offensive line 9 times by the Tennessee Titans. But do you know what the Los Angeles Rams have that the Tennessee Titans don't? An elite quarterback that will take advantage of the defense playing that well. And let me tell you one other thing. The weakness of the Bengals is the strength of the Rams. The Rams' defensive line has 3 menaces on it. Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald, and Von Miller are going to have 0 problem getting to Joe Burrow. They're going to sack him a bunch. I don't even see how Joe Burrow is going to have much time at all to find his receivers and be as explosive as we know he can be. I think that's going to be a serious issue for Joe Burrow. And like I said, instead of having Ryan Tannehill come out there and try and make up for those 9 sacks, it's going to be Matthew Stafford with Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham Jr., and they have a pretty good offensive line themselves. Like I said, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be close. The Rams have a better coach, and I think this is the year where the Rams finally get it done after all these years of trying to put it together. And just, they made the decision that Jared Goff isn't the guy, and they got Matthew Stafford, who's a significant upgrade. and acquiring Odell Beckham Jr. in the middle of the season and acquiring Von Miller in the middle of the season. This is the year for the Rams. I think Matthew Stafford will solidify his Hall of Fame career at this point in time. And really, unless he throws like a late game interception that leads to a huge momentum swing, because I don't think the Bengals are like a bad team playing in the Super Bowl by any means. I don't think they're lucky to be here. I don't think they're just happy to be here. I think they'll be back. They might be back sooner than the Rams because I think the future's a little bit brighter for the Bengals than the Rams. But in the present time, I got the Rams winning this Super Bowl by a final score of 35-14.
Wow. Very interesting.
There you have it. Frank, what's your favorite story of the Super Bowl going in?
I told you this last week when you asked me the favorite story, and I told you it wouldn't change. So I'm just going to reiterate what I said. And that's the fact that the Bengals are here in the Super Bowl. Because if you would have told me at the beginning of the season, the Cincinnati Bengals would be going to the Super Bowl, I'd say, buddy, you're on glue. That's not going to happen. Not this year. But they proved me wrong. And I think it's fantastic because I love seeing this team excel. They're just fun to watch. So I think it's going to make for an entertaining Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Joseph?
Joe Burrow being here and having a chance to be the first player in NFL history to win the Heisman, the national championship, and the Super Bowl, and he's going to potentially do it in a 3-year span. I think that is the most incredible story, and I'm not even a college football fan. So
there you go. Mine, I'm going to go with Stafford. I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford. He took a lot of heat in Detroit, unwarranted. You look at his stats from his time in Detroit, and the only stats that are bad are his wins and losses. And football, although the quarterback is the field general and you can't go without a good quarterback, it's a team game at the same time. And two things can be true. The quarterback could be the most important of said team, but when you go to a team like the Rams and they have a very mediocre to bad quarterback running the show there, and you replace him with someone who could throw for 4,500 yards and has a great coach, and I'm happy for Sean McVay that he was able to acquire someone like Matthew Stafford, and they had a little bit of a rough patch in the middle of the season, and they came together and worked hard and got through the playoffs, not easily. They went through Tom Brady, and now they're going to have their hands full with the Cincinnati Bengals offense. They're going to need their defense to do what they do, and that's the storyline I'm most looking forward to going in. And I will say that if you're looking for storylines going into the Super Bowl and storylines following the Super Bowl, you could head over to DeWindyCity.com, where I already have my article written for, not written, but planned out for either outcome. And I'm very excited to share my thoughts on relating what happened in this year's Super Bowl to the Chicago Bears and where they are at in their franchise, and how excited or lack thereof I am in certain aspects of their team. So I'm very much looking forward to sharing that with the world as, we wrap up the football season here.
Very good. That's incredible.
And to kick off or to end the show, we're not just going to end it. I know we've had a lot of betting talk, but of course we always got to get to our favorite segment and the number one favorite segment of American podcasting. And of course that is Breaking Bets.
Where's my money, bitch?
Welcome to Breaking Bets, hosted by Joseph Walter White, Francis Jesse Pinkman, and Vincent Walter Jr. Guys, what do we got? It's the biggest betting weekend of the year. I'm probably going to come out of retirement.
yeah, I certainly am going to be betting on the Super Bowl. I don't really have any of those picks. I would plan on doing it, Sunday morning, Saturday night, sitting down, looking at all the props, and kind of going from there. I will end up taking the Bengals money line. I'm seeing it right now at plus 163. That is for sure going to be one of my bets. It'll just be that bet, no parlay, straight up at plus 163. The team that I think is going to win, I can't pass up that value. $100 to win 163. You can't beat that if I actually think it's going to happen. But in terms of breaking bets tonight, there's two hockey games that just screamed at me. And they're both on money line, none of the spread, no overs, and they're both late games. So, you got time to do your Wednesday activities and then come out for the late games. Frank, I'm sorry if I steal any of your picks again for the hockey scene because it seems to be a theme here. But The Vegas Golden Knights are going into Calgary. I know how good Calgary is at home, but Vegas is one of those teams where whenever you see them plus, you gotta hop on it. They're plus 112 right now, and so I like the Vegas Golden Knights on the road in Calgary. Money line, that to me is a great pick. The other one is a 9:30 game, so an hour later. We're getting real late. I know, got to stay up late to watch these bets. That's my least favorite part about it. The New York Islanders are going into Vancouver, and I like the Vancouver Canucks tonight at plus 107. Home dog. The Vancouver Canucks have been a different team under Bruce Boudreau. The New York Islanders have not been great this year, and I think going into Canada is going to, favor the Canucks. They're used to playing with no fans as of late, and that's what's going on in Vancouver right now. So I like the Vancouver Canucks plus 107 and the Vegas Golden Knights on the road plus 112.
I have a bit of breaking news before Frankie goes. Boston Bruins goaltender Tuukka Rask has officially announced his retirement from the National Hockey League.
Yeah, I told Vinny this morning, I said I thought that, or I asked if you heard the Tuukka Rask news, and he said no, and I was like, well, he's about to announce his retirement, and that's probably the worst news as a Bruins fan I've ever heard, because he is my favorite player, and it's hard to replace players like that. So
very sorry. I know he meant a lot to you. He meant a lot to me over the years. I'm not going to make fun of you for getting a little teary-eyed right now, because I certainly know what that's like. Tuukka Rask has been a big part of our life and our fandom for a very long time. You could go to the Boston Bruins official Twitter account, Instagram, Facebook, all that, to read a letter that he wrote to the fans, and I think he wrote a letter to Joey specifically.
I have a text. I was talking to him this morning. That's how I found out.
Yeah, Tuukka Rask is one of the greatest goalies who ever lived. I think in NHL history, he has the fourth best goals against average and the third best save percentage, and he was one of the most underrated, underappreciated athletes in the history of Boston sports. He was never as loved and embraced as he should have been by the Boston Bruins, and his career is ending because of an injury, which really is not something that you always want to hear. But congrats to Tuukka Rask and his family on an incredible career. I'm happy to know that you made a significant amount of money and you got to win a lot of big games, and you were one of the great goalies who ever lived. So congratulations to you, Tuukka, and that's about it. Frank, you could continue with your bets.
Yeah, I don't know how to follow up that, because I watched Tuukka Rask and Tim Thomas, the two goalies, prominent goalies for the Bruins over the years, and it's kind of crazy that it's like the end of an era in a way. But yeah, that's kind of sad. But back to the betting, I guess. Now that you put a damper on things.
For real, like way to kill the vibes.
Right?
We're a show that spills the beans.
All right, so what we got here, I wanted to do something special for Super Bowl. I don't have any like Joey said, I don't have any props written down. That's something you do the night before, the day of, right? I was looking at over and under on the national anthem. I was going to give a pick on that, but I just don't have it, because there's just so many things you could bet on that I just wanted to keep it simple kind of with the picks. But I wanted to dissect the Super Bowl. I have an over-under pick, a spread pick, and a money line pick for the Super Bowl game, something I've never done before on this show. But I felt because it's a Super Bowl, this was the right thing to do. First of all, over-under for the Bengals-Rams game is 48.5. 48.5, in my opinion, is way too low for two dynamic offenses. And Vin, if your prediction comes true, 35-14, that hits the over. That's 49. Hits it by a half a point at minus 110. I don't think it's that bad of a deal, or I don't think it's that bad of a bet. However, I do disagree with you. I do think the game's going to be high scoring and a lot more closer than you think. So if I had to take the spread, I would consider taking the Rams or the Bengals +4, because I wouldn't be shocked if the Rams won by a field goal or whatnot. +4 for the Bengals is minus 110. But really, in reality, I think the smartest bet that somebody can make, even though it's going to be a little pricey, is the Rams money line at minus 195. Yeah, you got to give up a lot of juice here, but you're not really giving up that much if it ends up winning. So that's the way I see it. Those are my three picks on the Super Bowl. I have an NBA pick and a hockey pick. I'll go with my hockey pick. Joe, I knew you were going to say the Vegas Golden Knights. That's why I didn't write it down. I was thinking, I agree with you on the Vegas Golden Knights pick. And that's why I'm like, oh, I'm not going to write it down because I guarantee you Joey will find a way to steal my pick. So I tried to pick something that I think you wouldn't steal, and you didn't. Until the Philadelphia Flyers can prove to me that they're consistent and they want to be in the NHL to contend with teams, I'm going to go against them. I like the Detroit Red Wings on the road in Philadelphia at plus 103. I think Detroit's the better of the two teams this year. The standings show it. Standings don't always mean anything, but it's clear that the Red Wings are the better to the two teams here. You can get them as
I was looking at that game, so I'm happy you said that.
Yeah, we're always on the same wavelength, so that's just what we do. The Philadelphia Flyers are not consistent. They stink. They've won 2 in a row. This is a great letdown spot for them. People are like, oh, they're on 2 in a row. Now they're home against the Red Wings.
They're due for a loss.
They're due for a loss, and this is a great spot to take the road dog at plus 103. My NBA pick, my final pick. This is another late one. Joey mentioned staying up late. It's a 9 o'clocker on ESPN. The Warriors go into Utah to face off the Jazz. The Warriors are dealing with a lot of injuries right now. I'm pretty sure Klay Thompson's not playing. They got like 5 guys on the injury report. I think Curry's playing, which I guess if you're a Warriors fan, that's one of the only things like you could look forward to. Yeah, Curry's playing. The Jazz money line is minus 127. I love this. They're at home. They're playing an injury ridden Warriors team, and not to mention that the Jazz are getting. I don't know if this is their first game back with him, but Donovan Mitchell, the Jazz best player, is playing. I'm pretty sure, and I think that's why the Jazz are favored. This is just a great spot to take a very, very good team in the Jazz against a Warriors team who's not healthy right now. I don't think like anybody should pass up on the opportunity to take the Jazz money line at minus 127.
There you go. Very good bets all across the board. I'm coming out of retirement. I will be betting the Los Angeles Rams to win the Super Bowl. I really like the Chicago Bulls against the Hornets tonight. Talking basketball and hockey, I think the Oilers are going to absolutely smoke the Blackhawks. McDavid should have his way, against those Blackhawks defenders. And I know Marc-Andre Fleury can make an impact, so hopefully he does. Looking at the rest of the NHL schedule, I know that there are some interesting, games. I kind of think the Arizona Coyotes are going to have a good game tonight against the Seattle Kraken. I don't understand why the Kraken are minus 230. I actually think that's good value on Arizona. But, outside of that, it really just comes down to the Super Bowl. And mainly for me, I'm going to try and have some fun with the prop picks as well. I think I will pick Odell Beckham Jr. to score the first touchdown. I just have a funny feeling that that's going to be the case. And, the Rams to win. I like the over as well because even if the Bengals lose, they should still score some points. But I think Joe Burrow's inability to consistently run an offense with all those monsters chasing after him could damper that a little bit. But either way, I'm very excited to watch the Super Bowl. I will be watching with you guys, which is also very exciting. I'm excited to eat buffalo dip and chips with you, Frank.
Yep.
Should be a really good time, and I hope everybody out there enjoys the Super Bowl. And I know, it's a really fun time to be around sports right now. Like everybody loves watching the Super Bowl. Like that's what we watch all year for. To say, hey, who has the best chance to win it all this year? And now we're down to the Rams and the Bengals, 2 teams that in our life we haven't seen. The Rams were in it 2 years ago, which is nice, but they're not 2 teams that we've seen in the Super Bowl a bunch in our entire lifetimes. So it's going to be really fun. I'm very much looking forward to it.
And King Pookie asked who will have the best commercial. I know we talked about that earlier, but I got to go with Doritos. I feel like every year Doritos has always had a very funny commercial that will grab everyone's attention.
I'll go with Snickers.
I gotta agree with Doritos, just because I hope I'm eating Doritos while I watch that Doritos commercial.
Well, you guys will be eating Doritos with Uncle Joe here in the chat.
Joe.
He'll be there too, eating chips.
That's great. Eating
chips. That's what we do. We eat chips and we watch football. So everybody for tuning in, I appreciate. It's been a lot of fun to do this show and talking football with you guys. I know we'll probably use the first period next week to dissect the Super Bowl and all the happenings that went down with it. And of course, getting back to our regularly scheduled National Hockey League show talking about the stretch run of the NHL season, the trade deadlines coming up. Then we're going to start getting into the stretch run of the regular season. We'll get into the postseason, the Stanley Cup, the draft, free agency. This show never sleeps. I never sleep. And I'm hoping that everybody has a good time. Is there anything else that either of you two want to say before we head on out of here?
Just I hope everybody, whatever they're doing for Super Bowl, they have a safe and happy time. Enjoy it. It's one of the biggest times of the year. So I want everybody to have a good time, whatever they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and have a good time and be safe. I mean, a lot of big gatherings going on in the Super Bowl Sunday. So who knows what these numbers will be like after Super Bowl Sunday, but
hey,
we'll have a good time. That's all that matters.
Be safe, do what you got to do, and be happy. And as we like to say, keep enjoying sports, and we'll be excited to be back with you again next week here on Bar Down Talking Hockey. And of course, you could check me out tomorrow on Crosstown Crosstalk, where I will be joined by Cuban Dugout, who likes to come on shows and talk about Cuban prospects in Major League Baseball. I plan on talking about things like Luis Robert and Jose Abreu and Oscar Colas, who just signed with the White Sox as an international prospect. And I kind of want to talk about Minnie Minoso going to the Hall of Fame as one of the first great Cuban baseball players who ever lived. So it's going to be a good time, 2 p.m. Central tomorrow. All the other great shows on the Barroom Network, Bulls 101, Mike North, Dan and Aldo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is a great, great network of programming, and I encourage everybody to check it out as often as they can. And for the King Bean on Twitter, at Joey Parisi on Twitter, I'm at Vinny Parisi on Twitter, no underscore. Thank you for listening.